Welcome to the Sporting Chance. This podcast is brought to you by Midnight Falconry, makers of high-quality falconry leashes and jesses. Check them out at midnightfalconry.com. Ashley Clark Falconry, the highest quality leather falconry equipment, handmade in England, built to last and looks damn good while you're at it. Check them out at aclarkfalconry.co.uk. Be sure and use the code SportingChance10 at checkout. North Mountain Goshawks. Seth Roy is breeding high-quality, true parent-reared goshawks in addition to imprint goshawks on order. Check him out at northmountaingoshawks.com. Welcome, everyone, to the Sporting Chance podcast. I'm Aaron Kincaid.
And I'm Casey Everett. Welcome to the show.
We're changing things up today. We decided to catch up for a little bit before we have our guest on. Casey, who's our guest today?
Our guest today is Kirk Price. He's well, we'll get into it. We don't want to spoil it. But dude, how was your trip? We're a little rusty.
My trip. Yeah. I feel like it's been a while since we've done this. So I recently went out west for about a week. I delivered a bird to a friend out there and took the opportunity to do some sightseeing. Took the family around to various spots throughout New Mexico and Kansas.
Pretty sweet.
And yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, I love going out west. It's depressing when you come back to the East Coast because when you go out there, it's like, I don't know, I feel like I'm on a safari when I'm out there.
Dude, whenever I go like out west somewhere like that, or even as just like to PA, which is still technically like the East Coast kind of, but like you just feel like you're in America. And then you get back to like where I live and I'm like, dude, this is not America. This is like some garbage, like, bad dream.
I like to say I live in a suburban hellscape.
That you see that? You're good with words. That's kind of like the vibe that I was trying to get out of my mouth, but I couldn't do
it. It's hard to beat it when you're out there and you have, you can see as far as your eyes can possibly see in all directions. I mean, the wildlife that you see just off the top of my head. Granted, there's less birds this time of year, I guess, because they're not migrating through, and the ones that live there are taking care of their young. So we saw prairie falcons, ferruginous hawks, of course, red-tailed hawks. Believe rough-legged hawks.
Yeah.
Saw some burrowing owls. We passed a little prairie dog town.
No way! You saw burrowing owls?
Yeah. In New Mexico, we were driving by and you could see like the disrupted soil where the prairie dogs live, and saw a little burrowing owl. I know because I have burrowing owls as breeding birds, but I saw a burrowing owl fly, and then we kind of slowed down and looked, and there were a bunch of them out in the field.
So now, a question for you, because you obviously have them and you're attempting to breed them, and they don't dig their own burrows? I'm assuming they steal them.
I think. So the ones that I have, I did corrugated pipes and they take advantage of that, but they still dig around in the sand. So I think they take burrows that are existing and modify them to their needs.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Didn't see any wild golden eagles. I saw captive golden eagles. Didn't see any wild ones. Of course, bald eagles. They're pretty common though.
Yeah.
Ravens, which I love seeing ravens. We have some in the mountains here, but they're not common. Then a shrike, that was pretty cool. You know what a loggerhead shrike is?
Yeah, oh yeah. I friggin' love shrikes, man. There people hunt with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen a dude in like Thailand who hunts with one. They say that Henry VIII hunted with one when he was a kid. That was pretty cool. We supposedly have them here, but I've never seen one.
I've seen them at my house.
That's cool.
I mean, I don't know if it's exactly a shrike, but they're pretty identifiable. They got a big head. They got those like really aggressive like eyes. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of distinctive. So
Yeah, I knew as soon as I saw it. It was like a beefy, like predatory mockingbird, basically.
Right. But the tail's shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And someone had told me a long time ago that you'll never see them like up on a telephone line. They hang out in low areas. And sure enough, it was real low and like a little mesquite tree.
Just stabbing little animals onto barbed wire. And
yeah, I started looking around hoping to see that, but I couldn't find any of that anywhere.
Otherwise known as the butcher bird.
Butcher bird, yep.
Yeah.
And saw jackrabbits everywhere.
Oh, that's cool.
Saw one of the Airbnbs we stayed at was a cabin in the mountains, and there were freaking cottontails everywhere up there.
You gotta make a little trip,
dude. It was fun, and then we saw the bats at Carlsbad Caverns, like tens of thousands of bats flying out at night. That was pretty cool.
It's called Carl's Bat Tavern. Was it like serving beer in there? Bunch of wenches are walking around with dresses and bonnets.
That would be cool. That would be cool. But this was Carlsbad.
Oh,
Carlsbad Caverns.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we took an elevator 7 stories down at this national park to get there.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah. It was really cool. It was like 100 degrees outside and it was 50, 55 degrees in the cave. It was really cool. Nice.
Dude, I would just chill down there. I can't stand the heat. We're currently in a heat wave here in North Jersey / New York. It was like over 100 today.
It's about that here. It was really hot there, but it was dry and it was very windy.
Yeah. No humidity, right?
As far as I could tell, there was no humidity.
That's the killer. The humidity will get you.
Yeah, supposedly. At this point, I'm awfully used to it.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's even worse down by you. I think, although I do think in Jersey the humidity is like sometimes 80% down.
I mean, here. It's like 100% down here all summer.
That's insane, dude. That's insane. Can't have goshawks in that weather though, as we know.
Yeah,
it's impossible.
Never mind the one that I've got right now.
Yeah, and the other thing.
It makes sense when people say the prevalence of aspergillosis. You have to assume there's probably more of it here, but it's probably everywhere. There's people out west who have goshawks that die of aspergillosis.
Yeah, they say. Okay, so I was talking to somebody on the phone, and they were telling me that Asper is like, especially the North American goshawks, they like it's inherently like in their lungs. And then it's just a matter of it flaring up and keeping it under control. Because a lot of those freshly trapped birds, if you overstress them, that's when they get it and they die. So, even if you have them in perfect housing, it's almost like it's already in there. So there's some people that are saying that it's already in there, and then it just stress or going too low with the weight or whatever the case may be, that it stimulates to come out. And I currently have a North American, so I'm like super paranoid. I'm like staring at this bird all day on the camera, just like grilling her, like to just make sure she's okay, That's
what they say, is that Asper's everywhere and it's other factors that bring it down. Yeah. There's a veterinarian that is friends with one of my friends. She's pretty, she's one of those people on Facebook you see that you have like 55 mutual friends with when you click on her.
Right.
Because I think she's a falconer as well. She says that Asper is pretty uncommon in captive birds, like to kill them like that. She said most of the time when they do a biopsy, it's not Asper, it's something else.
Yeah, you were telling me that, which is super interesting. Sounds like a good guest to get on here.
Yeah, maybe we should have her on if she would do it. It's kind of surprising the people who don't want to be on a podcast.
Yeah, it's interesting because some people are they're like asking us to come on, and then other people, we're asking them to come on and they're like blowing us off. And it's not like, I think it's just with our community and, hunting in general, there's like a lot of judgment that goes on. And I think some people, and especially falconers, we're kind of like loners a little bit. And I think they just don't want to put themselves in the spotlight to have people just rip them apart. Like we're probably getting ripped apart, right now while whoever's listening. Whoever's listening. Asper, it only grows. You know what I mean? Like, that's going on.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's you definitely open yourself up to criticism when you speak on a podcast, but I think it's healthy to just not care about that.
Well, so for me, it's not. I probably said this before, but I'm not. Just so the listener knows, for me, and I'm sure Aaron agrees, we're not doing this podcast from a position of authority, right? Like we're the authority on the subjects that we're talking about. We're just simply putting together a platform where we could just have open discussions. And if somebody comes on and says something that's wrong, and then, I get a message about it, like I'm not necessarily endorsing everything that everyone says. It's more or less to have like an open forum for discussion. So if we're saying stuff just in friendly banter that's completely false or something like that, message us or whatever and tell us that we're wrong. I mean, I've been doing this a while, so I'm usually, pretty, close to being correct, but not. I'm never going to be correct all the time. So, but that's my perspective on this podcast is that it's not from a position of power or authority. It's more or less just a medium to discuss.
Yeah, I try and keep my mouth shut if I don't know something.
Yeah, I should learn how to do that.
No, I think to your credit, you're pretty good about. I mean, you don't have much to say about birds that. I take that back. You do. Yeah, you need to get better.
I've flown Harris Hawks in the context of a bait, so I know that doesn't necessarily count. But
a bait. Let's make one thing clear: abatement is not falconry.
That's right. Everyone's freaking out right now, going crazy.
I saw some jackass on Facebook saying that falconry is anytime you work with a bird of prey.
Bro, get the hell out of here, bro. Get the hell out of here, dude. That's such nonsense, bro. That kind of stuff just really just irritates me. It's like the line was drawn however many years ago, what the definition of falconry is, and now you have newer people coming in and they're just literally just in the masses pushing the line to the other direction to the point where now if you're holding a bird on your glove, you're practicing falconry. Like that's not what it is. So I don't care. I don't care what these people say. You know what I mean? I mean, like whatever. Like as long as if you're educating, I'm happy for you. I'll support you. Like educating but if you're going to schools and just teaching kids, you're not a falconer. Like you're an educator. So yeah, is a difference. So
and. In my opinion, that stuff's fine. If you've got educational birds that you take to schools or events and you educate the public on birds of prey, that's fine. But you are not doing falconry when you do that.
Yeah, exactly. So, but listen, we may have some outside listeners that are not necessarily falconers or have any interest in falconry due to the nature of our guests. But I did do some research on the topic. And apparently, hound hunting bears is legal in North Carolina. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that.
And why exactly are you not doing it?
Because I don't have a kennel of bear hounds.
Dude, you could do it with like one or two, bro. Come on. If it was legal here, I would have a hound too, and I'd be doing it 100%. I'm
surprised it's not legal. I'm surprised it's not legal everywhere.
Dude, what are you kidding me? Hound hunting is like one of the most controversial topics that you can discuss. And even doing research for this episode, it's like you read stuff and it's like hound hunting has been practiced for 20,000 years. And amongst hunters, it is still frowned upon as an unethical form of hunting. And I'm like, yeah, who's saying it's unethical? Are you whatever? We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it today, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll definitely get into that. And I want to encourage falconers who are listening to check out some of these non-falconry podcasts that we do. They all have a common thread for the most part, at least at this point they do, of involving another predatory animal in your hunt. Whether that's, we hope to talk to ferreters. We talked to a ratter that just uses dogs. We're talking to a bear hunter today that uses hounds. It's all kind of unorthodox, offbeat hunting.
Yeah, but if you think about it, it's like it's so hypocritical that a bird hunter is like, yeah, I use my dog to point a covey of quail and then I shoot them. But this guy over here that's using his dog to tree a bear in a tree and then I shoot it, that's unethical. The hell's the difference, dude? What is it? Like, literally, what's the difference? There's no difference.
I think people don't realize how challenging it is to get to that point to where you have dogs that can do that.
Yeah, and if we let the cat out of the bag or the hound out of the kennel, as they say. We got Kirk Price.
Says that.
A friend of yours says that?
No, I said nobody says that.
Dude, we're saying it. We're gonna trademark it right here. But so we got Kirk Price coming on, and he that's all he does is hound hunt, and he does all kinds of stuff. He goes out west and does, mountain lion. He does everything. He's like an all around hunter. But dude, you watch his videos, man. It's not like, oh yeah, there's the hound, and just like walk up to the tree and shoot it. It's like this dude's flying around the mountain like on a side by side, running up mountains. He's got a knee brace on because he probably hurt himself. And then when he gets up to the tree, the bear freaking bails and jumps over the dogs and then rolls down the hill. And then it's 3 miles that way. And then it's treed again. Now he's got to get back in the side by side. He goes spin around, check the GPS, go back. You know what I mean? It's like people act like it's just like just shooting fish in a barrel. And it's not. It really isn't.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean? Not to mention all the ethical reasons why to do it. And we'll get into that. And there's more ethical reasons to use hounds for hunting than there are to not use hounds. In my opinion, and we're going to get into that. So yeah, stay tuned. And thank you all for being here and listening.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by Kirk Price. Thanks for joining us, Kirk.
No problem, guys. Thank you all for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I think Casey just died.
I just got assassinated, dude. Okay,
so Casey was just telling me he's getting another baby goshawk, and his Latina wife supposedly took it well.
She's gonna stab me.
Yeah, we might just see like a knife come in from off screen and just stab him in the back.
Yeah, it's definitely not a freaking sandal going flying across the room.
So Kirk, when you came in, we could see like kind of a bigger. Actually, I see it down here in the bottom. I see a bigger view of all the mounts you got behind us. Can you tell us about some of that?
Yeah. So I guess directly behind me, I've got whitetail. Oh, other way, sorry. Yeah. Whitetail and mountain lion. So of course, those are just some deer I've killed here locally, and then the mountain lion came from out west. So that was actually
cool.
My first cat.
That was your first cat that you got with your dog, with your hounds.
Yep.
I think I watched that video. I probably watched that video. I watched like all your videos.
Okay. All right.
Dude,
cool.
Dude, I found your channel like however long ago, like maybe a year ago. And I just like every day for like 3 months, I would just binge watch all your videos, dude.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
One, you got like long hair, and then the other, you got like the cool haircut. And then it's just like, you see, like, I'm just jumping through time watching all your videos. But dude, like we got to get into this. Like, this is like, for me, growing up in the suburbs, just bow hunting just for whitetail, then getting into flying birds and falconry, which is a pretty niche thing. But I would say that hound hunting bears and using hounds to hunt bears is probably more unique than flying birds of prey, in my personal opinion. Because what we do is legal in most states except for Alaska and Hawaii. Well, no, Hawaii is the only one, right, Aaron?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's legal in every other state, but hunting bears with hounds is super regulated and illegal in so many states. So we want to get into all that. We want to get into the pros and the cons, why you do it, maybe some of the hate you get, and then just because I can vouch for why it's ethical and why it's probably even more ethical than just still hunting and shooting the first bear that you see. When you're treeing a bear, you have a very clear line of sight of what it is, if it has cubs with it, etc., and you're able to make a perfect ethical shot that ends with the bear that you wanted on the ground, not just, oh shoot, there's a cub over there.
Right.
It's so much more ethical. Like, I think hound hunting and shooting bears over bait is probably like the most ethical way to harvest a bear. And I freaking love bear meat. It's my favorite. So yeah, man, how did you
bear meat?
We love it. So tell us a little bit about your history. How did you get involved in this? And just tell us about it, man.
Okay.
How'd you get involved?
All right. So it's actually kind of an interesting background. I like the way that I got into it because it's not the way most houndsmen, I feel like, get or start hound hunting. For most people, it's generational. You know, their grandfather had a coon dog, their dad had a coon dog, took them along. For me, I didn't have any of that. We whitetail hunted, we deer hunted, but that was about it. My dad's never hound hunted. He got me into hunting, but not hound hunting. I was in college actually, and a buddy of mine asked me if I wanted to tag along with the guys that I now bear hunt with, and so that's how it all started. I went one time, and I was getting into cameras and filming and everything. And the first time I went, I was just in awe. Like I had this like idea of what I thought it was, which is the stereotypical, like these guys are lazy. These guys are just turning dogs out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll try anything once. I'll go do it. So
Yeah.
I went and experienced it, and I was like, this is a blast. You've got to bust your butt. You got to work hard. I love the dog aspect, like just being around, and you all understand this, just being around another animal that's helping you take down another animal.
Exactly.
That is so cool.
Yeah, man.
And then that's how they've hunted since the beginning of time. So all this was just, it was just brand new to me. But I fell in love with it quick. And then I went down the rabbit hole of, okay, I'm going to get one dog. I'm just going to get one. And then one turns into a backyard of 10. So
yeah, right. Yeah. This guy in the left over here, he knows all about that.
Right.
You had, how many dachshunds did you have? You got like 8 dachshunds at your house and a whippet or something?
Yeah, I've got the dogs that I've got.
That's a good answer. So how old were you? So you said you were in college. So you're like 21?
Oh, no.
22?
When I was in college.
Okay, when you're in college, that's when you went on your first hunt.
First time I went. Yeah. No,
okay.
I'm 27 now.
27 now. Okay.
Yeah.
So all right. So then you, when you, okay. So let's say somebody's listening, right? And they're like, they feel the same way you do. They want to try it. How does one go about buying a bear hound?
That is a very difficult thing, in my opinion.
Okay.
In the way that I think you should do it, I don't think you should just go out and buy, like, I don't think Google like top breed of dogs for bear hunting and then just go back. You know, don't do that. Most of the time when people are selling dogs, they're selling it for a reason. It's because it hasn't been trained properly. They let it get too old and they never developed it, whatever. And that's not the case for all dogs that are sold at all. But if you're trying to get into it and you're wanting to spend $500, you're going down the wrong road. The best thing you can do is find someone that already bear hunts and don't say I want to kill a bear, or don't tell them, you know, don't be a nuisance to them. Just show up and ask, you know, you want to help out, because it is, you can tell from my videos, it's a group effort.
Oh yeah, dude. It's like
it's dragging the bear, whether it's
dragging the bear, holding the dogs back, which something.
Yeah,
that's one thing, dude. That's like, it's like such a, like, it's not necessarily a small detail, but it's something that I didn't even think was. It wasn't even like, it didn't even cross my mind until I see in your videos everybody's grabbing a dog and pulling them off the. Some of your dogs are great, and you just say their name and they just jump off the tree. But other ones, you gotta. You know, we got dachshunds. Dachshunds are technically, I think they're technically a hound. So we got some that don't listen. They're super stubborn. And you got to chase them down, e-collar, all that. And then some other ones, you just give them a whistle and they just turn around and come running back. And then you pull them back and you chain them.
Yep.
Because when you shoot the bear, that explain to that, because I'm sure there's a few reasons for that.
Yeah. So let's say we got a bear in a tree. Well, number one, if you're going to shoot that bear, you don't want to shoot the bear and it fall on the dogs, because you can see the dogs are out the base of the tree. So I'd say that was, you know, that's the biggest reason you tie them back. But one, it's kind of like to get organized. So we'll pull the dogs back, then we'll start assessing the situation, because the dogs being on the tree a lot of the time is what's holding the bear in the tree.
Right.
You pull them back, you are kind of taking a risk of the bear coming out. I mean, I've seen it happen a lot, but most of the time they'll stay as long as you keep the dogs close. So we'll just tie them back, assess the situation, and we'll figure out, okay, is this a boar? Is this a sow? Is it a legal bear? Does it meet the weight requirements? And depending on if we're going to harvest the bear or not, is ultimately dependent on the hunter that's there and what they're after. If it's a legal bear, then most of the time, and it kind of depends on the area we're in and such, but most of the time we let the hunter decide.
Okay. What's a legal bear? Or is it vary from like zone to zone or county to county?
No, well, of course it depends. We hunt different states, but it depends on what state you're in. A lot of the times, so I guess we always want them to be legal. I want them to be bigger than legal.
Right. Yeah. Of
The
course.
legal bear is pretty small, to be honest with you. And we have a really, really healthy bear population. I mean, each in the part of the state I'm in, every hunter is allowed 2 bears apiece. So we have a pretty
Nice.
pretty healthy population of bear, which means it seems like there's not as many anymore. There's not as many bigger bear too.
Right.
So I would say the average bear for us is 150 pounder, and that's what that's kind of the minimum of what I want. A hunter to kill is 150 pounder. If I'm part of it.
Right.
I definitely don't want to go in there and kill a 100-pound bear or 75-pound bear just because it's legal.
Right.
I've seen Polaroids at this gas station up in the mountains that a lot of bear hunters stop in at, and there'll be somebody holding up a bear that's like the size of a dog.
Right. But also, I'll say this: all the stuff you see on social media are bears. The ones that are promoted are the big giant bears, of course, because that's exciting. But when you're actually out there hunting, the majority of bears, is what I'm saying, are 150 pounds. And a 150-pound bear to somebody, when they see it walking, I'm telling you, if I had $1 for every time somebody tells me they saw a bear, or we run into somebody who's like, we just saw your dogs go across here. They're right on a bear's butt. And I'll say, how big was it? I do it just for fun because I know they really don't have a clue.
It's 400-pounder.
We'll say 300. 300 every time. That is the number. That's the number. So they're shocked when they figure out that bear was actually like 100 pounds.
Dude, they're so deceiving in their size. The only bear that I've ever shot, my brother is a psychopath. He's not a psychopath, meaning that he shoots bears. Psychopath that he's just like, he like damn near eats, whitetail pellets to figure out what it is, where it's going. He's like taking his shoes off and crawling on the ground, and he kills monster whitetails, and he's killed like 3 or 4 bears.
Yeah.
So he's like all about it. And then me and him, we were invited. We were invited on a hunt, and so we got set up on this big piece of private land, and it was basically the whole mountainside was all blueberries, and they were feeding on the blueberries like late. Well, I think it was early. It was like September 11th or something like that. And if you're from that area, anyone listening, you'll know what state I was in based off of that season opener. And dude, this bear comes walking underneath my stand, and I'm texting my brother. I'm like, bear. He's like, how big? I'm like, dude, at least 250 pounds, 300 pounds. Dude, I shot it. It was like 150 pounds, not even. Like, it was like a dog. And I don't even like, I sent the video to a couple guys, and everyone just makes fun of me. So now I just don't even send it. But dude, best eating game meat I've ever had in my life, dude.
Right.
By far.
Right. Do you all ever hear that it's not good? Like, do you have people tell you that, or have you heard that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's like the stigma. It's just bear meat is nasty. It's gross.
I've never heard that.
Well, you're from a different area. Aaron's from North Carolina.
Okay.
Have you ever hunted down here?
Yes, I have. Yep, Western North Carolina, not the eastern side.
So
you know how many bears are in eastern North Carolina?
Right. Yes, I do.
Some big ones down there too.
Absolutely. Like the coast of North Carolina is, the quality of bear is unbelievable.
Casey likes to say like, oh, there's a bunch in New Jersey. Right, Casey?
Yeah. Friggin'. Well, from what I was told, Jersey has the highest density of bears like per capita. That's what I was told. And I can attest, listen, just from anecdotal evidence.
I think our guests may know might know what state has the most.
Actually, no, I wouldn't. I mean, I could see New Jersey, because don't you all have issues with hunting them? You can hunt them, you can't hunt them.
Bro, our governor is a complete fucking moron. He's an idiot. I think the Game and Fish Department had to basically sue his administration to get the bear opened, because people were like getting mauled, taking their garbage out because there's so many bears. Dude, where I live, I see bears every week. Knocking my garbage can. I'm going outside. I got videos on my security cameras in my house of me running on my porch, throwing a boot at the friggin' bear in my garbage can. dude, I got this monster that comes. He only comes at 3:00 in the morning. I only seen him twice since I moved here. I've been here for 2 years. I'm gonna send you the video, bro. This
What do
bear.
you think he weighs? 300 pounds?
No, this bear is 400 or 500 pounds. Belly hanging on the freaking ground, dude. Huge.
Wow.
He's obese. So I don't know, but
once they get that big, they're tough to tell like how big they are. I mean, like I have buddies that'll get a picture of one and they're like, "How big do you think this bear is?" And I'll say, "Dude, after a certain point, I can't even tell you."
Yeah, I mean, at that point, who cares? It's that big. The freaking skull on it's like this. Like, just have at it. Have fun. Yeah, man.
So have you guys ever heard of the bear lady of North Carolina, Kay Grayson?
I have not. No.
So there's this lady, Casey. Have you heard of her?
Nope.
There was this lady who she died. She was known as the bear lady. She was in Terrell County, North Carolina, which is middle of nowhere, coastal county. And she lived on a bunch of land in a little rundown trailer. And she fed bears and protected bears for like a long time.
Please tell me she got eaten.
So she would let the bears into her trailer and all too.
Oh, maybe I did see that. Maybe I did see like an article or like something on YouTube or something about that.
The only situation I'm familiar with that is like, wasn't there a guy in Alaska that got by his bears or whatever?
Bro, grizzly man.
Hey there, little fella. Hey there, little fella. He gets eaten alive.
Yeah.
So the lady died of natural causes. She was not killed by bears, but she may have. I think she might have gotten like the bears might have like eaten on her after she died.
Oh,
that's rough.
Can't remember. You ought to look her up though. It's interesting,
dude. I to be honest with you, I don't know if like Kirk feels the same way, but after I die, bro, like I always tell my wife, like after I die, I want her to cut me up into pieces and just feed me to my birds. But getting fed to the bears wouldn't be too bad either. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. That's a cool way to go.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like you're gonna cremate yourself or whatever, or get buried. But if you're into cremation, and then what are you gonna do? You're gonna spread your ashes like somewhere, dude. Just do it like a natural way and let the freaking animals eat you, bro.
Have you ever seen how they do it in the Himalayas?
No,
they call it like a sky burial. They just lay you on the hillside and let the vultures eat you.
Ooh.
Dude, you sent me that video on Instagram. Was that the one where with all the carcasses? Mm-hmm. And the lady was like with a pitchfork, like moving the carcasses around, and there's like bro, that I thought that was fake, but that's not fake at all.
They do that. It's normal.
Dude, that's crazy, bro. That's nuts. So, Aaron, you got any questions for Kirk?
Yeah, I
could go all day, bro. I could go all day.
I got a bunch of questions, but at the top of my list is what kind of dogs do you use and what kind of dogs can you use?
Great question.
So I'll answer what dogs I use. So I use it's a gentleman out of Oregon. It's his line of dog. It's a cross that he makes, so it's not a purebred dog.
Okay.
So basically the cross he makes is a running walker, or a foxhound, and a treeing walker. And then he'll outcross usually into treeing walkers and whatnot. But he has bred these dogs for a number of years, and the guys that I hunt with, they have purchased that bloodline of dogs for years and years and years, and so now the dogs that I have are from his bloodlines. So it's kind of a confusing to try to describe. It'd be easier to say like plot, but it's a mixed hound, and it's kind of like the best of both worlds for me. It's a dog that trees great. We can coon hunt them. We can mountain lion hunt them. For me, it's an all around dog. Like I can take this dog anywhere in the country and catch bears.
Yeah, and you could take them in the middle of nowhere and feed yourself for 3 or 4 days, like some of your videos.
Yeah,
off of possums and coons and everything else. Like those dogs they're treeing it. Like if I was stuck in the woods, I love my dachshunds, but if I was stuck in the woods and all I had was a rifle or a bow, like I would want one of your dogs.
Thank you.
Just treeing the shit out of everything and just feeding me nonstop.
And then like I've taken them to Florida and caught hogs.
Are they when you say caught hogs, are they hard enough that they're actually making contact with the hogs?
Absolutely. They are going in there to catch. which I really don't like that.
Well, that's impressive because most hounds, as we know, they'll engage to a certain degree, but they don't always engage in that sense. Like usually there's a catch dog or some brute that they run in there to grab it.
I wouldn't say they're nowhere near like of course, a pit bull catch dog.
Right.
But will they give them that? They'll absolutely, they'll have it by the ears and I can get in there and grab it from behind like they do down.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. Dude, that's so awesome.
Like your boy Python Cowboy, he ties them up and takes them home alive.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, I follow this guy on Instagram and like, dude, people say my stuff is bad. Dude, this guy, I don't know. I think he's in another country. I think that's why he gets away with it. But he posts like these videos of like every single day of like his dogs holding the pig down and he's just like sawing off its head while it's still alive. I'm like, dude, like obviously I know that's what you're doing. Like, you're bleeding it out. Like, but like, why are you like, first of all, why are you going so slow? And second of all, why are you like having your buddy like an inch away filming it while it is brutal, dude? And I'm like, holy crap.
You got some other issues going on.
Yeah, I think he's getting off on it a little bit.
Yeah. I think everything deserves a pretty quick death. So.
Yeah, man. Except for feral cats. They can die slow.
I love sending Casey videos of like cats like spraying on stuff they shouldn't be.
Dude, they freaking get my blood boiling, dude. And Kirk, you do a little small game hunting, right? I've seen you you kill a couple rabbits.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have that problem out there like we do with the feral cats in your fields eating all your freaking rabbits?
So the feral cat issue, believe it or not, is not that I'm aware of. I actually treed one. So I was out looking for bobcat tracks and accidentally treed one. And I'm going to be honest with you, I let it go. Which I know.
Bro, I know. End the show right now.
But it's not that I'm aware. I know what they do to birds. But there's so few feral cats around here. It's not discussed. I knew nothing about it as far as I've now learned because I posted a video and people were like, "Did you kill it?" And I was like, "No, it was like a house cat." And and then that's when I went down that road of, oh, maybe I should have killed that.
You definitely should have killed it. But there's always next time. My bird caught one once by accident. I just literally just grabbed it right by the face.
Depending on where you live, it's not legal.
It's not legal anywhere. It's actually like a felony, and it's an animal abuse charge because I've looked into it.
Wow.
To try to see if I could get away with it. So so basically, if I cut my bird loose and I don't have the proper permits, or something's not in season, and my bird catches a rabbit and I get caught, I'm going to court and this and that. But then grandma across the street over here, she can let her cat out and it can just kill anything and everything in the neighborhood, and there's zero repercussions. Like, it makes no sense to me, and it makes my blood boil.
Could bite the head off a little bog turtle.
Yeah, dude, this is freaking endangered. All right, so
hang on, I didn't get to finish my.
Good. You jump in. Go ahead.
What
other types of dogs can people use for this?
Okay, so of course, most hounds. You've got English hounds, you've got plots, you've got. There's one that's starting to catch on here. That there's a guy out of Virginia. He hunts with Lycas. So it's like a West Siberian Lyca. I'll send you his Instagram after this. He is somebody that y'all should have on this show. I mean, like,
dude,
he is very, very. I've never hunted with him, but from what I can tell, he is a go-getter. And he trees a pile of bears with usually 2 dogs. He's hunting 2 dogs there, and it's a totally different style of hunting. They're like sight hounds. Of course, they can smell, but they're not trailing bears.
Right.
He's hammering down on national forest, and these dogs, they don't run. Like, our dogs will run and run and run, and they can run a bear for 10 miles. I mean, who knows how long?
Yeah.
You pull them off of it if they don't catch it. But his dogs are treeing them usually within 200 or 300 yards. It's a totally different style of hunting. It's boots on the ground. It's really interesting to me, and something that one day I'd like to get into.
That sounds super interesting. So it's like I'm guessing the dog is like a big sight hound.
Yeah. So it's like a fluffy white husky.
Fluffy white. Do they have the curly tail in the back?
Yeah, it curls up.
Yeah, I've seen some videos in Russia of like
with them grizzlies and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen those dogs. So they get in there, and those videos for anybody like wondering, like you got to go watch those videos because the dogs have like zero fear.
Zero.
And but they're not stupid either. Like they get in and nip, and then this freaking giant grizzly bear is like turning around trying to grab them, and they're just nonchalantly just sidestepping, and then the other one comes in and grabs it, and then it's nuts, man. They're like snake charmers, those dogs. They're so cool. So they're getting in and they're engaging and they're forcing that bear to tree more so than like a typical like traditional hound would do.
Well, no. So like my hounds are, in my opinion, as gritty as they come. They're just as gritty as those dogs. Those dogs, I think, now, like I said, I've never done this style, but what I've gathered is they're so fast. They're putting so much pressure on that bear from the start.
Oh, got it.
Almost like I would describe it as like a bum rush. Like they're coming at that thing so fast, so hard, that bear just boom shoots up the tree.
Got it.
Hound, he can hear that hound, coming.
Right.
That hound's coming. So he might run him further. I think it's a really interesting style dog for people that might want to bear hunt in smaller acreage areas. And it could be utilized a lot different. Like with hounds, you've got to have access. You've got to have trucks. You see us trucks, radios, we're all communicating. We're here, there. We're hunting tracts of land that are 10, 15, 20,000 acres. We got to have room to move around. With those dogs, you can hunt. I mean, you can hound hunt by yourself. Those specifically, you do hunt by yourself, and you can get into areas that us hound hunters can't get into. Boots on the ground, walking, and put them up a tree.
So I know go ahead. I know you said you didn't hunt with him, but now I'm curious of the details behind it because, like, is he cutting a track? But you said they're not hounds, so they're not following it. So is it like by sight, and then he puts them on it, and it's the scent is so hot?
I think they will use their nose a little bit. They're not going to like trail though, but like they can wind. So you'll see them up and bouncing, winding one, and they will hunt around him. And he's taking them into areas where there's bears too. I mean, he knows, I'm going to walk this point down. There's a bunch of laurel on it. We should jump a bear out of here.
Right.
But it's a lot. It's a different style. And like I said, I haven't done it, but it's something I plan on getting into just because I like the work aspect of it. I mean, it looks
there's nothing like watching your dogs work, man. That's like with us, man. And we're doing, it's not similar to what you're doing, but kind of, but our dogs are trailing and scenting and baying and going down holes and flushing. And it's just like, you can go out and shoot something and you can go out with your hawk, and catch something, but it's so much cooler when you have another animal that's involved. And it's like, it's working out where it went. It's trying to figure out where it went. And some of your videos, I see that like you'll see on the GPS and like some of your dogs will go one way and then the other dogs will go another way. And then you're kind of like on hold waiting to see who's right and who's wrong and then who figures it out.
Right.
Dude, I love that. I love that. It's so cool to me.
Yeah. So what's happening there is let's say a bear's came down and it's came off a mountain, it's crossed the creek and it's went up the other side of the mountain. And the dogs will hit that track and almost hit it perpendicular. And it's a colder track. And, you can smell it going one way. And of course, you can smell it going the other way. Well, they can't figure out which direction it went first. So they'll split off and start trailing both directions, which I love. I love it because I'm like, one of y'all are going to be right. We're going to figure out who. And I can tell pretty quickly. And the dogs will figure it out. Like, especially the older dogs, they'll quickly figure out this track's getting colder. I need to turn around because I'm back.
Yeah.
Or go the other direction.
Do you have certain dogs in your pack that, like if this dog is going in that direction, our chances are higher that that's where it's going?
Yeah. Bliss 99% of the time.
Right. That's like your money dog right there.
Right. That was my first time. Like I got what helped me out a ton was I hit the lottery like the first time playing.
Right.
I got a once in 1,000 dog. Not all dogs are created equally. You can go through so many and until you see one that's truly, truly special. It doesn't matter what amount of training you do. It doesn't matter what you feed it. It doesn't matter how many times you hunt it. Some dogs are just like people. Some people are NBA players. Some people are football players. Yeah. And it's like hitting the genetic lottery.
Right.
And
exactly.
That's the way that dog is. And so I just have, she just turned 6 for me, and it's like a confidence dog. Like if I know we're having issues, whatever, I can just cut her loose and let her figure it out.
Yeah, and she'll figure it out. That's great to have.
Yeah. She just kind of when I mentioned earlier. Sorry, that cat right there, Bliss. When I knew she was really special, I took her out west, and I caught. And I didn't have any other cat dogs at the time. This was early on. I caught 3 mountain lions with just her,
By herself.
By herself in like
wow.
a 4-day period. 3-day period. So it was 3 days, and we ran out of snow. But I caught 3, and we killed 2 of the cats, 2 toms off of her. One was a Boone and Crockett. It was an absolute giant.
Wow.
The other one I killed, she had bait up on the edge of a vertical canyon. Like I'm talking 300-foot drop, just a massive canyon. She had it bait on the edge of it. And I killed that one just because it was, one, which I could see it was a big cat, but also it was such a sketchy situation.
Yeah.
A lot of times I get in there and take care of those.
Go ahead.
Do you, so on the subject of cats, do you think there's any on the East Coast?
My opinion is there's not a breeding population, but I can't rule out, just because I believe there's been one like confirmed hit and killed in Connecticut by a car. So as far as, I mean, yeah, of course there's some in Florida. Yeah, we know that. But as far as like where I live, West Virginia, New Jersey, maybe there's one like a young male that strays out, but there is not a breeding population. There's zero chance of it.
So when I was a kid, I was actually born in West Virginia.
Okay.
And my whole family was, but we lived in Roanoke, Virginia, and I 100% saw one when I was a kid. My mom saw it too.
Really?
Yeah. But that was a while ago.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. How old were you?
7.
That ain't helping your kid.
My mom saw it too. My mom saw it.
Maybe she was just trying to make you feel good. Yeah, honey, yeah, son. That was a mountain lion.
Yeah,
we were
so our neighbors all said, they're like, yeah, there's mountain lions here. And you know how it is. You live in West Virginia. I'm sure people all say they see mountain lions.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I mean, I laid eyes on this, and I yelled for my mom. She opened the front door and she saw it. And she said she watched it just walk into the woods.
Yeah. And I'm not saying, I mean, you very well could have. You could have seen one of those young males. That's what they say, that, based off the podcast and the biologists that I've listened to, is that those males sometimes will do bizarre things and just stray way, way, way out of their home range. But as far as there being a breeding population, there's no chance. There's way too many trail cameras, cell cameras, and no one can ever hardly provide a photo. If they do, it's always a sketchy photo where it's like, well, I don't know what that is.
I've seen so many that's obviously a house cat.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And people that's what they want to see. So they convince themselves, like they trick their brain. I do believe they believe it, but I also believe they're wrong.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I probably agree with you. Yeah. When I first got into bow hunting years ago, me and my brother, we met some guy at the parking lot, and dude, we were so naive. We were scouting. We saw a bunch of sign and pulled into this parking lot in the middle of nowhere. It's like one of our first or second times. We ended up getting lost, by the way. And the like search and rescue had to find us. We were like gone all night long in the middle of nowhere. Dude, it was hilarious, bro. My brother, if my brother's listening, don't, but he was like freaking out and like losing his mind because I'm 4 years younger than him and he was responsible for me. Mind you, we saw 6 bears that day. And now we're walking through the woods in the middle of nowhere. He was the only one who had a cell phone. I wasn't allowed to have a cell phone. And then we ended up stumbling out of the woods. Great story, actually. And this is a true story, 100%. We ended up stumbling out of the woods on a dead end at like 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. And we knock on this lady's door. She's like terrified. She thinks we're like psychopaths. We're standing there with her. We have our summit tree stands on our back and our Hoyt bows in our hands. And we're like, we were lost in the woods. And she's like, yeah, right. You're going to kill me. So then like, so she wouldn't open the door. So then we just started walking down the street and like, we're thinking like, we'll just keep knocking on people's doors. And then this is a true story. We hear all these dogs going ballistic. I think they were beagles in a kennel, an outdoor kennel. And we hear this crazy noise. Dude, there's a giant bear, 300 pounds at least, dude, trying to get into the kennel to either get the dog food or kill the bears. And it was like, I remember it was hitting the fence with its paw. It was smacking the fence. And then this guy ended up coming down the street, 2 o'clock in the morning, and he pulls up next to us. anyway, it was the woman's father. So she called him and she's like, there's some crazy people at my door. And he came over and we're like, no, we're legitimately lost. And look at the bear over there. So then he ended up doing a U-turn and like blocking the bear, like, and we're walking on the other side of the car and we're going past him. And then search and rescue ended up finding us at the end of the street and taking us back to our mom, who was driving around with my brothers and sisters in the minivan trying to find us all night.
Jeez, what a story.
Crazy story, dude. Yeah, man, just bears are everywhere where I live. They're everywhere.
Based off what you like, seeing 6 bears on just the evening hunt it sounds like y'all have an unbelievable population. Oh,
it's out of control. I'm going to start carrying bear spray when I fly my birds because my dog went, because, obviously, where I live, there's a lot of rabbits in the brush piles. And 3 last season, my dog was in the brush pile with the bear that was denning in the brush pile.
Yep.
We also pushed a sow off of it was just, I don't know if you know the technical term for it, but it was basically just a ground den where she denned up underneath like perfect rabbit cover, like briars.
Yep.
And the dogs are baying, going crazy in there. We're like, oh, is it a raccoon, a possum? Because that'll happen from time to time. And dude, I reach over my head, I look in there, and it's just a wall of fur. It ended up being a small sow. Then she ran away, and the dogs chased her. And then we kept hearing this weird noise. I walk around, dude, there's a baby bear, like 2 weeks old, in the dirt, like in the little depression in the ground, just squirming around in there. And so we called the dogs out, and then we left, and then hopefully she came back or whatever. But dude, there's so many bears where I live. It's out of control. It's just completely out of control. But but that's where I was going with that story. The guy told us, no, there's nothing here, bro. I've been here. I just come here because I've been coming here since I was a kid, like this old timer. He goes, if you go down the road like 3 miles, there's a turnoff. Just hike up in the woods there. It's great. There's a lot of deer in there. And we're like, really? Thanks. And we just literally, we didn't see anything, dude. And then we just saw bears, no deer. And then he was but I tell that story because he was telling us that there was a mountain lion that he saw. It jumped across the road. He said it jumped from one side of the road to the other side of the road and had a long tail. And so, yeah, there's people say that there's mountain lions. You hear it everywhere. Even in Jersey, you hear it.
Guarantee it. Casey,
Yeah.
By the way, that strayed away from, I forgot we were even talking about mountain lions, but I was engaged the whole time.
Good. I brought it back though. And sometimes I'll go on a tangent like that and I'll forget why I went on a tangent like that. But this time I was able to wrap it all together.
I liked it. But I worked in real estate, and this has to do with mountain lions. I work in real estate. I'm to the point now where I'm doing YouTube full time, but
the dream.
I still do a little bit of real estate, but the number one thing, and I don't even have to ask landowners this. I work in land sales, sell land. They want to bring up when they show me their property or whatever. I'm talking 9 out of 10 will tell me there's a mountain lion on their property.
Yeah, of course.
I'm like, I don't ever correct them. I just let them live it out,
Yeah.
But I find it so funny. I was like, if there's as many mountain lions as what people thought, we would see more mountain lions than we see deer. I mean,
yeah. Not to mention your dogs are in the field constantly running all over all these acres, and you would think all that time spent in the field, you would eventually tree a mountain lion or at least see a track,
right,
or something, and you never do.
Right. So. And I look in, it's hard for me to pass a mud hole. Of course, when there's snow, I check almost every track.
Yeah.
But I look all the time, never cut a track. And I'm not saying that I would if there was some here, but there's a pretty good chance that one of my buddies or someone I know, there's a lot of houndsmen that know what tracks look like.
Yeah. So is there like a community, like, because I see some of your videos and there's like one video, there'll be like an Amish kid, like with the cool haircut. And then another video, there's like a bunch of dudes in orange that look like badass. Like they're like really they're like part of the crew.
Yeah.
And then there's like another guy that's just like hanging out with you. Yeah. Like, how does that work? You have like a bunch of, do you do outfitting and stuff like that? Or that's not a thing for you?
No. So guiding for bears is illegal in West Virginia. And I love that. I love that for all the reasons you said right there. I am, and will publicly say this and fight against it. I never want there to be outfitting for bears in West Virginia for the reason of the community aspect, because it will result in everything you just mentioned there. Like I Now, this isn't like everybody listen to podcasts. This is not an open invite, so I don't want you to say that. But like,
right. He's only inviting us. Okay.
right. Like I always told Casey, like, come on out. People I know that I'm friends with or I talk to, literally the Amish guys you're referring to, I sold them a piece of property. That they're big hunters, and I sold them a piece of property. And my buddy is putting in a driveway for a cabin that they're going to build because they love bow hunting. And they were down checking it out. He's like, "Hey man, we're going hunting tomorrow if y'all want to go." And they're like, "Really?" And they're like, "Yeah, Kirk has told you this piece of property. He'll be there." And so we met up at the gas station and took those dudes out, and one of them killed a bear and had the time of his life. But and that's what I love about it is just the community aspect of it. So it's just like all those people you see in the videos are all people that I know, I'm friends with, and it's just you never know. Like I'll literally just call people up the night before. Hey, you want to go shoot a bear tomorrow, or you want to go tag along, whatever.
Yeah, dude, that's so cool. And yeah, I agree 100%. As soon as the money starts getting involved, then everyone's going to start getting cutthroat. They're not going to want to share any spots. They're not going to want to.
Right.
It's going to be all about money. It'll ruin
turn
it.
into a nightmare. And I'm not against outfitting. I'm not against that at all. But it's like we've went this far without it in West Virginia, where I'm from. We don't have any type of bear outfitting. I would rather there not be at this point, just because it will break up. Like if you go ask houndsmen, most of them. If you ask most houndsmen in West Virginia, can I tag along and shoot a bear? They will say yes.
Yeah.
They'll say it's not ask you, not require. You don't have to pay $1. Just come along, help out with the process, drag a bear, be a part of it. Is all we ask for.
Yeah,
and
help out.
I think that is so cool. And like you said, once you add money into it, then it turns into, well, my dogs treat that bear, so I'm getting paid today, or I can just see it turn into a nightmare, something I don't want to go down. And I feel like I could profit from it as much as anybody with my YouTube channel. Just promoting it and getting clients, but it's not what I want to do.
Yeah, man.
I have a question for you, Kirk. Going back, how do you start a dog on tracking bears?
Great question.
So there's a lot of things you can do when they're very young. You can take them out. I know some guys will run their bear hounds on rabbits starting off, which is pretty unique.
Wow.
Just letting them use their nose. When my dogs are young, like I have a puppy right now who's on my front porch. He's free. He can run around, do whatever he wants. I let him socialize every single day. Between my wife and I, we order a lot of stuff online. So the UPS man's always at my house. And the puppy's running up on the UPS truck. He's giving him treats. I'll run down the road. I'll throw him in the truck. I socialize them as much as possible. Just letting them experience new things. Everything's new to them. It's exciting. They're smelling everything. So usually the first 3 or 4 months of their life, I'm just purely letting them just be a pup. And when they get to the point where, luckily, the area that I live in is pretty open. There's no major roads close by or anything. So I can let my pups run free. I don't have to worry about them getting hit.
That's good, yeah.
But when usually that 4-month mark is when they start getting adventurous and they want to run down to my neighbor's chickens and start harassing them, or they see a deer for the first time and they want to take off after it. That's usually when I'm like, okay, it's time for you to go up. Actually, the last pup I raised, if you watch my videos, Ding Ding.
Yeah.
Ding, when I knew it was time to put him up, I drove home. He's normally meeting me in the driveway. He wasn't there, and I get out of the truck and listen, and I hear him running a deer in the holler I live in. He's just taking off. I knew he'd come back. He was young. Of course, he did come back. And I'm like, all right, that's it. It's time to put up. And I had done 0 training with him to that point. And then I take him in the woods bear hunting the first time. All the dogs, we strike a bear, put all the dogs on it. I put Ding Ding in there. Boom, he's gone with the first one. And so there was very, very little of me, and there was very little of me actually like one-on-one, like, okay, this is what a bear is. This is what you need to do. Putting scent out and all that. I personally don't do hardly any of that just because of the way I raise my dogs and let them be dogs. They will naturally, they're hounds. And a huge part of having bear hounds is picking quality bloodlines and picking quality dogs. I just don't take any dog. And a perfect example of that is the stray dog that I picked up off the side of the road. Actually, the last video I uploaded.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
I took it out and tried to hunt it, and it doesn't know. It doesn't know how to hunt at all. Like it's just doesn't have it in it. Which is what happens if you don't pick a quality dog.
Yeah.
And so, I'm very fortunate. The bloodline of dogs and the type of dogs I hunt start very, very easily. By the time they're 4 or 5 months old, you can put them in the box and take them hunting, and within no time, they're going to be out chasing bears. What also helps is that I have older dogs to develop them.
Right.
And so if you were going to start off with a dog, you would want to get, like, the way I would recommend doing it, which is the way I did it, get with a group of guys, take that dog when it's at the appropriate age, and then start slowly introducing it. That dog, the first time, is not going to look like an all-star. It's going to take time. Some dogs start earlier than others. But the biggest thing is just staying consistent. And with time, you will figure it out, and so will the dog.
That's great, man. So you're not doing you're not taking like a bear hide and dragging it for miles to the woods. None of that.
Never done that. Never. And I've seen guys do it, and that's fine. But right. I find it completely unnecessary.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, that's super interesting, because I would figure that you'd have to get like a bear hide from somebody and drag it around, let them chew on it with puppies. Because with the dachshunds, I mean, when I got my red dog Ginger, the breeder Teddy Moritz, the breeder, she's very well known in the dachshund community, the hunting dachshund community, and I think Ginger and her litter mates probably killed like 4 or 5 rabbits before I even got her at 8 weeks old. So It was like from day one, it was ingrained in them that rabbits are like, I mean, Ginger views rabbits as food at this point. Like if I don't get there, right, and she gets one in a hole and she pulls it out, I'll find her at the entrance of the hole just chowing down on the thing like a wild animal. Like right. So, but I guess you wouldn't necessarily want to. So that's my question: is with your hounds, is it because with dachshunds it's a prey drive. Like they're so small and they can't really catch rabbits, but they want to catch them and kill them and eat them.
Yeah.
Like is that the same kind of mindset that your dogs have, or are they getting off like a bird dog? They get off on the scent. They don't necessarily get off on killing and eating the bird, right? Because that'd be counterintuitive. Like, are your dogs chasing the bear because they want to engage with it, or are they chasing it because it's just like it's in them to do that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to ask the question that I'm trying to ask. You know,
I would say yes to both your questions. It's in them to do that, but also they absolutely, I mean, they go berserk.
Right.
And if you shot a bear, they would absolutely just sit there and eat it if they could.
Oh, cool.
And I've seen them get aggressive. And of course, it's something, a lot of times you'll see it with a younger dog, sometimes, not always, but you'll see a younger dog kind of be like, after a bear shot out of a tree, he'll kind of stand over it and be like, this is mine, and kind of guard it almost.
All right.
Correct that. You want to correct that early, because you don't want to have some type of like food aggression, even though, it is a whole bear laying there. But a lot of times I will, when we gut the bear, I will take out the liver and feed that to the dogs.
So now that leads me into my next question. On that same note, are you worried about trichinosis with your dogs?
Great question.
Yeah.
So when I got into bear hunting, I saw guys doing that. I didn't know anything about trichinosis. Knew nothing about it. And then
that's the brainworm, right?
Like Bobby Kennedy, bro? No. I mean, close. It's close. It's close.
Thing? Like pigs can carry it too, right?
Yeah.
Yes. No.
I think Bobby Kennedy was eating that raw bacon.
Yeah. I think he was in Africa doing something and he caught something over there. That's the story.
Okay.
He's a falconer too, by the way, Kirk.
I saw that on your Instagram. I had no idea.
Yeah. It's cool. He's been a falconer for a long time. Yeah. I got lucky getting invited to go fly with him. It was fun.
That is cool. Cool. But
back to brainworms.
Yeah. So yeah, you would think I'm giving them raw bear. You would think that would contract trichinosis. And I actually mentioned in the video, like, I know guys that have been doing this for 25, 30 plus years, and their dogs have never contracted trichinosis. And I don't know why, but I'm going to keep doing it because they're not getting trichinosis. And I found out dogs can get trichinosis, but apparently there was actually, so when I said that, somebody started researching it, and then they posted a link to a medical journal where it wasn't found to to affect the bear organs. It was only affecting the bear muscle and the bear meat itself. The organs you don't have to worry about. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. Why? And I don't want to spread false information. So do your own research on that. If you shoot a bear and you want to feed it to your dogs right there, that's up to you. But I've done it for now a number of years without issue.
That's super interesting because, the way it works is for Aaron, if you don't know, unless Kirk, you want to tell us how trichinosis works, the way it goes through the system.
So I actually know very little about it other than you're supposed to cook your meat to 165 degrees so you don't get it. It's 165.
It's 165. And then I've also heard we eat bear meat in my house. I think somebody said you can cook it for like 135, but you have to triple the cooking time because the prolonged 135 will eventually kill off the larva or whatever. So essentially, the way it works is if they eat garbage or they eat something contaminated with trichinosis, it's basically like a worm that gets in the bloodstream and then penetrates, the walls of the arteries and veins, and then burrows its way into the muscle tissue, and then just kind of like rice breasts with ducks. Are you familiar with that? So ducks will get rice breasts where you'll cut the breast open and there's like these grains of rice in there. It's so nasty. So I don't know if you can see trick when it's like when you like do like some sort of like an X-ray or something like that. But yeah, basically it gets in there and then you basically get like chronic muscle aches for obvious reasons. And then because Steve Vernella on the Meat Eater podcast did a deep dive into it, so that's kind of the only reason why I know a lot about it, and because I eat bear meat, so I kind of researched it. But after you take the medicine and the larva dies, it still stays in your muscle, so it's always in there. Isn't that gross, dude? Yeah. So dude, I'll take the risk any day of the week, man.
Doesn't it rot in there?
Who knows,
the larva? Man. That's so gross.
I don't know if it's like microscopic. It might be microscopic for all we know.
Kirk, have you ever seen rice breast in a duck?
No, I haven't.
Ooh, Google it. You'll throw up. It's gnarly, dude. Yeah. You can. People say you can still eat it. You can cook it and just cook it for a certain time.
Dude,
extra protein.
Yeah, that's what I said. But my bird, my one bird, she was a duck slaying machine, and I think we caught like 6 in one season that had it, and it was so gross.
Wow.
It was so gross, man. I'm going to breast the thing out and pluck it, and you get the skin off, even though I don't like to take the skin off because the skin's the best part. And then you just see like these white dots. And then when you cut it, it's like grains of rice, like all over the breast. It's like in the muscle. It's so nasty.
I bet you're glad you came on, aren't you?
I'm just glad I'm not eating.
Yeah. Freaking throw up.
The closest I've seen to gross, like with that in a bear, I've seen it 2 or 3 times where we went to gut a bear and they'll have worms in them. Now I should have been, I guess I should have looked more into it. I don't know what type of worms. I don't know what it is, but I've seen like 2 or 3 times a ball, like almost like spaghetti noodle size of worm. Bigger than a softball.
Oh my God. And they're wiggling?
Yeah, moving around. Just
things wiggling.
Just on the inside of them. And of course, that's not trichinosis, but I don't know what that is. I'm sure you could quickly Google it.
I'm sure it's a tapeworm.
Tapeworm or roundworm. Yeah, I'm literally getting. You never saw the video of that bear walking, the black bear walking across the stream from behind, and there's like a 6-foot worm dragging behind it in the water. You never saw that?
There's videos of black bear walking with like 20-foot worms dragging behind him.
Yeah, grizzly bears, you'll see it too in a lot of videos. But dude, I don't give a crap though. I'll take that risk any day of the week, bro. If I want to get some good bear meat in a pot roast and put it in my freaking Dutch oven, hell out of here, bro.
Right?
I love it.
As long as you cook it, but dude,
you got to cook it. Yeah, but I mean, listen, rabbits, like I deworm my dachshunds. They eat like same like you, Kirk. My dachshunds, when we catch rabbits, everyone's getting a piece of it at the end of the hunt.
Yep.
They're all getting a piece, and they get roundworm and not roundworm. They get tapeworms and stuff like that. And I usually deworm them twice a year and you just give them a couple pills for 10 days, 2 weeks, and then it's gone. Nothing. You don't even know it's there. You just do it preemptively and you're good.
Yep.
So you don't deal with that. Okay, that's cool. I had another question for you and I forgot what it was.
I have a question while you're thinking about that.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Have you ever had a bear go at your dogs? You know, a dog ever get hit by a bear?
Yeah. Now that happens pretty often. When they're trying to get a bear up a tree, or we've got a bear that won't tree. So so people ask me pretty often what causes a bear to tree or what causes a bear not to tree. And I described it like people. Like, some people are meaner than others. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how small you are. Now, typically, the bigger you are, the harder it is to get you that it's going to get for that bear to get up in a tree.
Right.
So when you see it, but I've seen 400-pound bears in trees. So that doesn't mean, just like you've seen some big jack guy that's just an absolute wimp.
Yeah.
It goes the same way with bears. But you know, so circling back to have I got, dogs bit by a bear. Yes, and it can be small bears, it can be big bears. And of course, big bears will do more damage. Most of the time, the damage is inflicted with the bear's canines, and you'll just see holes in the bears.
In the dogs.
In the dogs. Yes, holes in the dogs. And it'll just be canine holes. Just boop. Most of the time, it's just 2 dots. You can get more. You can get bruising. I had a dog last season, and I didn't know it on the spot. Actually, get a punctured lung. And she got pounced, and I'm guessing that's when that lung popped almost.
Jeez.
And then I picked her up to load her in the box, and she quit on a bear. And I was like, "What? I mean, this dog normally doesn't quit on a bear." Now, she was young; she was just a year old, but I didn't know. This bear was getting mean. It had treed twice, and then on the 3rd time, we actually killed it. But I didn't know why the dog quit. Well, then I loaded her in the box, and I could feel on the dog. It was like basically like almost like Rice Krispies under her skin.
Oh, okay. So
air bubbles that you could like pop. And luckily the lung sealed itself off pretty quickly. But if they doesn't, and that air keeps leaking, apparently, and I've never had this happen or see it happen, but just talking with vets, the dogs can suffocate. That air gets trapped in there, and it squeezes their lungs in, and it causes them to suffocate. I've personally never had a dog killed by a bear. I mean, you would assume that happens a lot bear hunting with hounds. I'm trying to think. I don't know that I've been on a hunt, and I have been on hundreds of bear kills, hundreds. Bears on the ground, all different sizes, giant bears, little bears, you name it. You never know what kind of bear you're going to deal with, and as far as what kind of damage he could inflict. So
that's got to be so exciting, because when they cut that track, or you cut the track and let the dogs, work it out, and then they're running it, and you're watching on the GPS them running it. That's got to be part of the excitement, right? Like not knowing.
Sure.
Yeah, not knowing what it is.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, as far as like cut the track, yeah, if you can see the track, then I don't know what size bear it is. If we don't know, it's just if the dogs rig it on scent, we'll cut them off the truck, and then it's like Christmas Day. You're walking in there, you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, and it's this little dinky.
Yeah,
100-pound bear.
And that's what I have fun with the videos. I'm like, I don't know what this is. We're going to get in here, and I'm always locked and loaded. If it's my goal is to, me personally, never shoot a bear. I've killed plenty of bears. We always have hunters there that are there just to shoot them. So, and I want to get them the bear, but I have 2 tags a year. Like I said earlier, we get two bear tags, and I usually end up using both of them on bigger bears that will not tree.
Right.
They're either about to go down across a main road, and I don't want them to go there, so I'll catch up with it and kill it.
Yeah.
Or it just depends on the situation. Or it could be hurting dogs. Then I need to get in there. So I always save my tags. It would be very, very rare for me to see me shoot a bear out of a tree.
So now, right on that same point. So now, if what are the rules? So if your dogs are obviously, bear hunting with hounds is legal in your state, but are there like rules within rules where if the bear is killing your dog in front of you and you don't have a tag, you can't kill. You got to just stand there and watch, or try to get in there and do something.
You got to get in there and do something. You got to be a man about it.
Have you done that?
I mean, luckily I've never been in the situation where I've been out of tags and been like, well, I can't do anything. I've never been in that situation. But you got to think, in West Virginia, we can run our dogs all year long. So all summer long. So if I see it's a big bear, it's on the ground, and let's say they're walking it, I'll if they've got it caught, they've got it caught. There's no reason to let my dogs continue walking it. And I'll just take the Garmin, tone the dogs, holler at them, pull them all off of it.
When you're saying walking it, that I'm visualizing it from, being a fan of your videos of just this, big bear just walking through the forest like nonchalantly with like 10 dogs behind it, just going crazy, and it's just walking. Is that what you mean by walking a bear?
Yeah. Basically, the dogs are just all around it, and the bear, it'll stop every now and then, he'll put his back up against a tree or a big rock, and then he'll start going again. And it's basically like this bear has decided he's going to walk to the end of the earth or till when these dogs stop following him.
He's just had enough of the dogs, and he's not scared of the dogs.
And that's when we got to get in there, and because that's just, you're on the verge of something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. He's either going to end up somewhere he's not supposed to be, or we're not supposed to be on someone else's property, or whatever, or he's going to get in a dangerous situation and he might grab a dog. The longer you let that go on, the higher of those odds continue to go up. So that's when I get in there and take care of business.
So now that video that is personally my favorite video of yours, and I don't know if it was like one of the videos that like blew up for you, but you probably know the one I'm talking about, where you snuck up through the grass while your dogs are down low in the drainage, and the bear is pushing up towards you, and you cut it off and just, dude, you just smoked that thing like 10 yards away.
Yeah.
Like, is that a situation where was that bear being walked by your dogs? Because he didn't really look like he was like hauling ass.
He was being walked by the dogs. They're right there on his butt.
Aaron, have you seen that video? That's such a good video with the lighting too, and like the sun was going down. Oh, dude,
it was perfect for somebody. Of course, I have a video background, and I knew going into that, one, that bear was not treeing. We'd been running him for a while. He was not going to go in a tree. We had a kid there actually that day wanting to shoot one. We got him one later that day, but he was wanting to shoot that bear. And when I saw what it was doing, I had one tag left. And I was like, okay, this is a pretty big bear, and I can see where this is heading. So I'm going to try to get in front of it and kill it. And that was best case scenario. I had the cameraman right over my shoulder.
Yeah,
coming up, I'm tracking, and I'm listening. You're always listening to the dogs, and I can tell just by the way the sound of the bark which way the dog is facing. And I can tell this dog's coming at me. It's coming at me, and so you got to think, if that bear's coming straight on, I can't shoot down, because then if I shoot down, I'm hitting dogs. Like, it passes through, I miss the bear, whatever. So I've almost got to position myself to where he comes up, and kind of cuts off right in front of me with the dogs trailing behind him. And that is exactly what happened. And I shot him in the head. Right in the head.
Yeah. It was, dude, that was a beautiful harvest, man. That was so nice. Okay. So now you mentioned it twice, and I did a little research on you, which I didn't even know, being a fan of yours. You say you have a video background. You did some work for like Buck Commander and that whole crew. That's kind of a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm surprised you found that.
Dude, I find everything, dude.
He's a fan girl.
Yeah.
So when I was in college, I got a super unique opportunity to go work for Buck Commander for a semester, kind of like an internship. It was an official internship through the university, just because it was too early on. I wasn't even allowed to do it. So I just took a semester off school and went and worked for Buck Commander. I knew a little bit about cameras. I'd been filming my hunts. At that point, I was doing zero hound stuff. So I had no hound footage or anything. I was filming deer hunts, just whatever I could get my buddies to let me follow them with the camera or self film. So I sent them my stuff, and they had me come down, and that's where I actually learned how to run a camera.
Because you're using GoPros and stuff like that too, but the majority of your filming is like with a legitimate camera, right?
Yes, it has been, but now actually I film almost solely with an iPhone and GoPro.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
I know, it's wild. I went away from the video you're referring to where I shot the bear in the head.
Yeah.
In December, I'll have a cameraman with me filming with a big nice rig. For the whole month. But now I'm going away from that style because the audience seems to like the iPhone footage.
It's more realistic. It's more like
my videos are longer. I'm shifting my style of footage, which in return the videos are doing better.
Right, because that's like I make videos and stuff but it's nothing like what you get. And like you said, early on that this is now your career to do that. So like, not to like make you feel not uncomfortable, but like how stuff that I think of, like like imagine I blow up and I'm starting getting views and I'm making money off of my videos. Like, is that stressful for you? Like having to curtail like everything that you're doing to try to maintain the audience that you have in order to pay your bills, essentially, right? That's got to be a little stressful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing, but it's got to be a little stressful.
Oh, it's 100% stressful. I mean, that's what people don't understand. You don't understand when you're watching those bear videos. I'm literally producing a TV show.
Literally every episode. Yeah, it's crazy.
A TV show. I'm thinking of this. I hunt out of the side, but I've destroyed personal pickup trucks. Like I bought a 2019 Tacoma straight out of college. And I'm telling you, when I took it to the dealership, it's because I was on my way home from bear hunting and the wheel fell off of it and just caved in the right-hand side of it, just caved in the fender. And I had a tow truck come get it, and we took it to the nearest repair shop. And I said, get it to where I can run. I can drive it down the road to the dealership, and whatever truck they've got there, I'm going to try to get them down on it. But whatever they don't know it, I'm leaving that truck there and I'm taking another one somewhere else.
Yeah.
I've destroyed, what I'm getting at is I've destroyed trucks because I will be flying to get in position to get this footage.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I wish people that, and I don't really talk about it in the videos because
it's
not part of the video, but I'm organizing camera guys, the whole month, trying to figure out who can film what, who can do.
How do you find a camera guy? Because I've been kind of toying with the idea, like YouTube is like so hard to grow. So that's why like seeing your stuff and how big you are on YouTube, like that's like where it's at. Cause you get paid well from YouTube. Like Instagram, you could get like a 6 million view video and you make like 50 cents on it. So it's like, there's nothing there.
Tough, man. It's tough. I put zero effort into Instagram because
I know. I see that. You had just like a couple really, no, I just noticed that like your YouTube is where it's at. And then the Instagram is like where you post like the video of your dog that was in the den with the bear for like 20 minutes. Can you tell us about that a little bit real quick?
Yeah.
That was crazy. The bear is in the den with one of his dogs for like 20 minutes straight, like down the hole.
So it is I don't want to say a den. That is what you would think looking at it. What it is it's an auger hole. So if you look up auger mining, AUGER, it's where they've mined in the ground. They've drilled this hole out and then brought it back. And they're supposed to, when they reclaim it, they're supposed to fill all those in so you can't get in them. Well, the area I live in is full of them. So those bears will be running. Oh, look, a quick hole. Boom. They'll jump in that hole. Somehow in that video, and I should say those holes are like 100 feet deep, maybe further. That's the furthest I've ever been in one, which you should not climb in them, but I've had to go in them before. And that bear got back in there. And as soon as that's in my opinion, the most dangerous spot for a dog to be because there's water in those holes. And if let's say a bear gets a dog on the ground, not only does it have to worry about a bear on top of it, it's got to worry about drowning.
Yeah.
But then also, it's in a tight space. They're like 3 foot wide, maybe. So there's not, if that bear takes off and let's say you've got 10 head of hound in there and those dogs are stumbling over each other trying to get away, then you're just asking for disaster. Like it's in the bear's advantage at that point.
Oh yeah.
It's a perfect place for a bear to go. So what you're referring to though, that specific instance was somehow that dog, his name's Brother. He's one of my best dogs.
Yeah.
Brother got into a little tango with the bear. I got all the dogs off of it. Brother is one of the hard-headed ones that he is definitely smart enough to know, hey, it's time to get out of there. But he wants to get after him. He wants to kill that bear so bad that he's just not going to listen. So I'm in there. I'm pulling them all out, and I'm toning Brother, trying to get him. But then I realized, because I saw the bear, and I hear Brother behind him.
Oh, my God.
And so he is now, if you're trying to visualize this, if you're listening to it, he is now there's a wall behind him. The hole is on the side the bear's at, and so he has nowhere to go. He is either has a wall or a bear. He's
behind the bear in this giant hole with the bear blocking the exit to get out. And you're trying to get him out and he's right behind it.
Yeah.
Like why didn't that bear turn? Like I was thinking when I was watching the video, like why didn't the bear turn around and just maul him to death? Like why? Like
exactly. That's
why? It's crazy, right?
So that's the question you get with like, why did my dog treat three mountain lions by herself in a 3-day period? Why
Right.
that mountain lion is fully capable. Any of them are of killing her.
Yeah.
Like that. Same with the bear, but I mean, it just comes down to mindset. Like you see how fearless these dogs are.
Yeah.
The bears and the mountain lions and such, they don't. It's almost like, imagine if you had some crazy person coming at you, and they were just they were so into it, and they were so psycho that you're like, I want nothing to do with that person.
Right.
Like, I want nothing to do with them. I don't care how big or bad I am. That guy is on a mission. I want nothing to do with him. That's how I imagine these bears and mountain lions. That's the only way I can process it.
That makes sense.
That right there, like, brother's so, he's so crazy. That bear's like, dude, everything in the woods around here is scared of me except this guy. There's something, they're different.
This guy's smoking meth behind the friggin' bowling alley.
Right. Yeah, he's built different. So that's why he didn't, I guess, turn around and just mess him up.
Okay, so now speaking of your channel, speaking of this, unless Aaron, do you have any questions? I'm kind of
you had asked him a question and then you diverted off of it to get him to tell the story about the bear and the dog and the auger hole.
Oh, about YouTube.
Follow up.
The camera.
Follow up on that. Oh, I was going to, okay. So I was just going to ask for selfish reasons, how do you go about finding a camera guy that's capable of filming correctly for you?
That is tough.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's not an easy answer to that.
Okay.
The camera guys that I use, I personally know both of them. They're not camera guys in their day job. They're both younger guys that are super, super flexible, not married, don't have kids. So they can kind of, they're early in life. They're like I was early in life. They're bouncing around. They might be cutting yards one day. They might be whatever. So I turn them into camera guys.
Cool.
And, I teach them, I usually teach them the basics. And I also don't just throw them in a situation and expect them to know how to do it. So they'll come with me, in the summertime when the videos aren't as serious right now. It's not actually hunting season, and they'll start to learn. And that's when I'll start developing them and training them. And then come hunting season, when I'm not having to coach them per se, we're working together. But as far as finding them, man, that is tough. That is super tough. And it's like, it's got to be, you got to think about it. It's somebody you're going to be hunting with, and you wouldn't want to be hunting with somebody you don't really get along with, or you don't want to be there.
Right.
So you're going to be doing it. I mean, I hunt day in, day out. So if you don't like each other, you're going to figure it out quick. The honeymoon ends, in a couple of days.
Oh, yeah.
So it's finding that dynamic. And also, I got to find somebody that can kind of keep up with me. That is very difficult, because we're hunting mountains. And I'm not waiting around for a cameraman if my dogs are up there fighting a bear. I need to go there and kill it. And so luckily, the camera guys I got are tough as can be, which is another, hard trait to find.
Yeah, I thought hunting bears is like just super easy. You just kind of like you kind of just like walk around. You're not running up and down cliffs all day and then jumping back in the side by side and then running up another cliff and then they're on the other side and then running all the way around. It's not. I thought you just walk up to the tree and shoot the bear, and it's really easy. Yeah,
we just go to the pound, pick up a dog, go lose.
Yeah, and just kill all the bears and make them extinct. Like
there's not any.
Yeah,
sounds easy.
Yeah, I guess if you put it like that. So now, this is something that I wanted to get into with you. I mean, it goes without saying, obviously, and the falconry, we get it. I get death threats and everything else. I'm going to kill your family, all this and that. I get it. And I'm sure you probably get it times 10, right? You have to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't put, like, people get so crazy about bears. I mean, we had a guy, he was a falconer as well, but he kills, like, he's a crazy predator hunter. He takes it really seriously. He's killing over 100 head every year, predator hunting at night. And people, falconers and other hunters, like, they lost their mind when I posted, on our our podcast page about it. So I can only imagine what you deal with. Have you had to deal with anything other than the usual, or like anybody getting, like, you had to get the, authorities involved, anything like that?
I've never had to get the authorities involved just because I don't take them serious.
Right.
When there was a guy commenting $10,000 for his head. multiple times, like specifically naming me, putting $10 on my head. Fortunately, most of those people, if you were to run in them in real life, they wouldn't say a word to you. So, here I am calling them out, like, happened yet, guys? Come on. But I mean, man, and that's part of the reason too. I don't do, I guess, a lot on Instagram, and why I like YouTube is because you can go through my videos and there's a bunch of long form videos, and it's hard for me to explain every single time the ethical reasons of bear hunting.
Right.
So, but at least with the longer videos, they can see the whole process, and then watch, other stuff with Instagram or stuff like that, where it's short videos, they're just seeing a 15-second clip of a wild video of dogs and bears, and then they're in the comments, running.
Yeah.
At least with YouTube, I feel like it kind of gives them they can at least process a little bit and then come up with something.
That's good. Yeah, it's interesting.
And then now with YouTube, you've got shorts that you can link to your long form videos, which I utilize a bunch. And so those shorts, when you watch a short, you can click there at the bottom of it, and those are always clips from the long form videos. And then they can go and watch the long form video, and then kind of, maybe it'll give them a more of an opportunity to draw an educated opinion rather than just spewing the first thing that comes to mind.
You got to get it like crazy, because
I do. I could care less what they say. I mean, I truly could care less. It will not change my opinion, just because our opinion, what we do, what everybody here does, is science based. It's not based off of emotion, and it is hard to explain. Like, I get so tired of. I get almost, and I'm not saying like whitetail deer hunters. I'm a whitetail deer hunter. I love whitetail deer hunting, but it must be nice to not have to explain yourself
right.
Every time you do something, or every time you post a video or something. Like, you can just go hunt and kill a deer, and everybody's like, nice, dude, because it's just widely accepted. It's like with a bear or a mountain lion or whatever, it's like, well, this is the reason we do it, blah, blah, blah. And then I just get tired of doing that. Now, it is our responsibility to do that, and I do think it is important to do that. But I kind of get tired of just constantly defending myself.
Yeah, man, that's right on track with everything that we talk about on this show. It's everything we do is science based. It's all ethical. There's reasons why we do it. There's reasons why we can do it and why it's legal. Can you talk us through with some of the? I know you just said you're tired of explaining yourself.
Explain yourself.
Now explain yourself.
I'm trying to put together a video. I get tired of doing it every single video because, one, like my core audience that watches every video, they don't want to hear me explain that every single time. I wouldn't want to.
I was going to say, like, maybe make an intro where you explain it, but then that's just annoying, and everybody does.
They
it's just
to hear that every single time, and that's going to hurt the performance. Like, I'm thinking from a video standpoint, I am going back and analyzing the video. I'm watching the retention graph. Like, you can see the data when people are skipping the video,
right?
And so I'm trying to make these videos as watchable, as enjoyable as possible. And so me repeating the same thing every time is not going to help me or help grow my channel.
Yeah. Aaron, do you have anything?
So, related to that, are you familiar with the video? And I happened upon this years ago. The dude, he's a YouTuber, and he has a farm in Vermont.
Yes.
Oh God, I hate that guy. I hate that guy.
He's actually used clips from my channel on his channel.
Way.
Yeah. Gold Shaw Farms.
That's his name.
Gold if you're listening to this, go leave a negative comment on his channel, please.
So what's a channel? Because I left a bunch of negative comments.
Gold Straw Farms.
Gold Straw Farms. Don't hate on him.
Shaw.
Oh, Shaw.
So for anybody who's listening who's not familiar, this is a guy, I think he moved from the city to Vermont and started a little farm, real small, little like, not like a large scale farm. It seems like he's raising just a few animals, and some bear hunters came across his property. Their dogs were chasing a bear, came across his property, and he got all up in arms about it and tried to get the laws changed.
Fucking asshole. Sorry.
Right. I think that's the essence of what happened, right?
Yes, that's the essence. And it's just ironic that, once again, somebody from the city moves into the country and then wants to change the country back like the city.
Yeah, get the hell back in the city where you belong.
Right. No, that guy, he is a YouTuber to a T. It's what it is he knows this particular topic is great for his YouTube channel and his woke left following that he has. And so he uses this as bait. These poor bears, protecting his property, protecting his ducks. The guy really, he if you can't tell, gets me fired up because
it gets me fired up too. I even run bears.
Right. All this is for him is I'm telling you right now, it's clickbait. It's a thumbnail. It's a topic, because the rest of his content is extremely boring and played out.
Yeah. How many times can you feed your ducks and change the eggs in your freaking in your chicken coop?
Like, so this is just another title or another thumbnail for him, and he wants it at the cost of bear hunting with hounds in Vermont. Wants to change the laws. You know, I saw where he did. I did like this. He went on a bear hunt and tried to experience it, but of course, you know, I knew where it was going to go before I watched the video because he has his mind made up about it.
Did the bear hunters that took him out, did they know who he was or did he manipulate them?
Yeah. No, they knew who he was.
So they were trying to extend an olive branch and say, come see what we do and understand.
Which is great.
It's great.
But for him and his channel, it's not profitable and it's not what his subscribers want to see because I'm telling you, he had his mind made up before he went. And I knew what direction it was going to go. And then, of course, he has used footage of mine. Of course, what does he do? He takes a little excerpt of 15 seconds of a 20-minute long video and, uses that much of it as an example of bear hunting with hounds.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So for me personally, in my opinion, and I'll let you continue with the pros of bear hunting with hounds and even, mountain lion hunting with hounds. For me, I feel that the pros outweigh the cons. So, but I'll let you keep going talking about the pros of it.
Yeah.
Just for the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. No. So the pros would be, as we've mentioned, earlier, getting to see if it's a boar or sow. Let's say you're in a low bear population area. You're trying to grow your population, or there's some areas where there's quotas, whether it be boar or sow. You're allowed, let's say, 20 boars and 5 sows. And they're doing that, trying to protect the population. You can go in there and, you can tell if it's a boar, if it's a sow, and then you can make a decision whether you want to harvest it or not. Is it a young bear? Is it an old bear? Rather than, and of course, I have no problem with, let's say you're just bow hunting them and you're not doing it over bait or whatever, or you're on the ground maybe and one walks by, you get excited and boom, you shoot it.
Yeah.
And it turns out it had 3 cubs with it.
Exactly.
And that could happen. I mean, it would be, of course, no one would ever do that on purpose, but with hounds, as far as I know, I mean, 99.9% of the time, that mama is going to stay with her cubs and they're going to go up the same tree together. As soon as we see their cubs, we're pulling them off and going somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. That's super great. Yeah. And for me, like I've hunted bears. Like I said, I only got one. My brother just killed a bunch more. He's better than me, but whatever. Like when a bear is walking past you and it's 300-pound bear, how do you tell that it's a boar or a sow when it's walking past you?
I mean, unless you see the identifiable marks.
What are they?
It would either be a big head, or you see its nuts.
Right.
I was going to say, do bears have swinging nuts?
Right. But most of the time, like even me, you see bears all the time and has been on hundreds of bears being killed. You seeing one walk, I can't tell you what it is like that. Now, if it was coming to a bait site and I could look at it and it moves around. Now, if it's a big boar, I can tell immediately.
Right.
But for the average Joe, like you're not just going to, like the chances of you seeing like a big 350-pound boar or 400-pound boar, like a big bear, is like you running into, say you're a whitetail hunter, you running into a 160-inch buck. It doesn't happen that often.
No, it doesn't.
Most of the ones you see are going to be smaller or whatever. So trying to judge them like that is very tough to do. It's very tough.
Sounds like hound hunting with for bears should be legal in every state.
Yeah.
If you really think about it.
I just kind of took it for granted that it was legal in most places because everywhere I've ever lived, it is.
Right. I take it for granted too. You know, I forget that not everywhere is like where I live.
We've got some good laws here that protect hunting with dogs as a heritage. You know, I'm curious about something. Well, first, just about every state in the South, the state dog is a hunting dog.
Mm-hmm.
Casey, awesome. What is it in New Jersey and New York?
I think it's like a pug. It's like a Yorkie or a poodle or some shit.
One of the laws here, and I run into it with my dogs, is I hunt in the city limits a lot with doing falconry. You're not shooting a gun, so you can get away with it. And I was thinking earlier when you were talking about using a different type of bear dog, that if you don't have as much land, you can work smaller spots with them. It's kind of like us running rabbits for falconry purposes. We use the dachshunds because, sure, beagles are probably the best rabbit dog there is, but beagles will run to the end of the earth, and they make a racket, and they're not that good for behind Walmart.
Exactly.
So, but the law here says if you're engaged in a sporting activity, a legal sporting activity with your dog, that it does not need to be on a leash.
That's most states, I think. I think that's the same, even in Jersey and New York where I live. I think that's the same. They can't harass you.
So just about the only thing you could do up there, though, would be upland game or running rabbits with beagles, huh?
For me?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I haven't looked into it, but I can't imagine that they expect you to, if small game hunting is legal and you're allowed to use dogs for small game hunting and upland hunting, I can't imagine that there's some bylaw in there that's tucked away that says your dog has to be on a leash.
Yeah, it's just an important distinction, and it's good to know your laws. So if you're in the city limits doing falconry and somebody says something to you about leash laws, you can.
I usually try not to ask any questions and then just play dumb later. Just kidding, everybody. But on that same note that Aaron was just going on, that's the whole point of why we have Kirk on right now, is because what Kirk does is directly tied to what we do as falconers. And if there's new listeners listening that are fans of Kirk, thank you for joining us. But hunting with hounds has been going on for, I think I just saw something today online. It said 20,000 years, which I don't know if that's true. But that's, and flying.
Dude, it's got to predate history for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. And we've been flying, birds of prey have been documented for at least 5,000 by different metrics. So these are things like Aaron was alluding to that are a cultural heritage activity for human beings as a whole. So I think that we as sportsmen and people that use dogs, even if you're just an upland hunter and you're like, you got like $7,000 worth of Filson on and an $8,000 dog, and you're shooting one pheasant a year with your friends from the office, like you should still understand that what you're doing is a cultural heritage activity that should be respected, and anybody who's doing it slightly different than you should also be respected. Because as we were talking about earlier in the show, just because you're pointing a grouse with an $8,000 setter that was trained for 8 months by a professional trainer, that's really no different than Kirk treeing bears. It's the same. It's literally the exact same thing. He's using his breed of dog to do what it was bred to do, and you're using your breed of dog to do what it was bred to do. And there's really no distinction as long as the science lines up. And as long as there's no unethical behavior, which would not happen because that's why we have a regulatory body that oversees us. So just keep that in mind. So I'm just sorry. I'll go on a rant for hours, bro.
No. That was spot on. And I mean, I relate to you all because your form of hunting it's different. It's different than what most people do.
Right.
And just like mine is. And so I relate to you all more than I would just than the average hunter.
Right.
Everything you said is spot on.
Yeah, man. Now, I just had one other question because we get this a lot with people that get a following online, and like they get a following. And then there's always this group of, whether it's falconers or I'm sure bear hunters, you get hate from within your hound hunting community because you're putting this stuff out there and you shouldn't be giving them ammunition. This is all the stuff that we hear. Do you get that? And how do you deal with that?
Early on, I got it.
Okay.
A decent amount. Usually I don't engage with it. And I don't engage with it. And it's usually coming from older gentlemen that are
Same here.
anti anything. And their heart is in a good spot, and I know that. And so I don't engage, I don't argue. But what I feel like I'm doing, but I don't feel like I know what I'm doing, is I'm recruiting more people. I don't want to say more bear hunters, because it's a difficult thing to get into, considering all the different aspects of the dogs and land access and trucks and side by sides and radio, all that. I mean, it's a big sport to get into. But what I'm trying to do is, I feel like if I don't make it, if I don't popularize it in a way, or put a spotlight on it in a way, then it will eventually go away. If you don't educate people about it and show them what we're doing is actually, it's pretty cool, and these guys are ethical, and this isn't what I thought it was, which is, remember getting into this, I thought these guys were lazy. I thought this was just some bunch of fat dudes walking around, turning their dogs loose, walking up to trees, shooting it out.
Yeah.
And it is so much more of that. And so with my videos, I want to almost just bring us a positive spotlight into the hound community. But as far as the hound community goes, and hate and stuff from within, it's almost all gone away. I have very, very little. No one has ever came up to me in person. I've had a few messages, especially when we first started off with it, because it was so new and no one was putting bear hunting with hound videos on the internet. As many videos and as videos that were getting as many views as what I was.
Right.
And so they were just taken back by it and just like, no, this is not good. But I feel like I've handled it in a responsible manner that is, progressing bear hunting in a good direction, and more people are becoming fans of it, and it's gaining support rather than hiding it, not talking about it, not showing what we do, and
right.
then eventually watching it go away.
Yeah, dude. I on that same note, when I first met my wife, we were dating. I bought the ring after 4 months. We were getting ready to get. I did. We were getting ready to get married, and she told me that when she was at college, some crazy woman came up to her to ban the bear hunt, and my wife signed some stupid petition because of what the girl said.
Right.
And I literally almost called off the wedding, literally. And but I say that to say that if my wife would have stumbled across one of your videos about bear hunting, or met somebody that stumbled across one of your videos and saw how much work it is, how ethical it is, how it sets up the shot, you can identify what you're shooting, she would have probably educated that woman and said, no, that's a lie. Everything you're saying to me right now about killing cubs and stuff, that's all a lie.
Right.
And walked away. So that's my argument for what I do, as at least for falconry. And we get it, like I was just alluding to, we get it in on our end for, this ancient sport, nobody needs to know about it. You're giving them ammunition. Like, whether you give them ammunition or not, they're still coming for us. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's not like they're going to stop. So we better get ahead of it and educate. And, you kind of, we're talking a little bit about left and right. And, that's kind of the tactic that some certain political parties have taken. And now we have whole months of the year, dedicated to these to these ideas that people have, and whether it's, good or bad, whatever, it's not my place to say. But I'm saying there's a trend where if you put it in somebody's face, not in a obnoxious way, but in a kind way for them to understand, and in a way that's palatable for them, we could possibly sway people when there is a vote or some stupid thing that needs to be signed. They won't be able to get what they need because they're educated on it, because of people like you. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you.
Yeah, man. Keep up the good work, dude.
And that's the ultimate goal of it. When I first started filming it, I had no idea what I was getting into, and that was not what I guess I got into it for. Heck, I was posting the bear videos because I thought they were cool.
Yeah.
But then I quickly realized, okay, I've got a lot of responsibility here that I didn't ask for. But by putting these on the internet, I realized that it is my responsibility to showcase it and show what it truly is, and all the ethical reasons behind it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I with what you all do, I've literally had other hunters, and I had no idea. I know when I say very little about falconry, so little. I mean, it will be a totally new experience the first time I do it. But I wouldn't know about it, and I wouldn't think it was cool if I hadn't seen y'all's Instagram videos.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I have other hunters.
Well, not mine.
Yeah, Aaron's on the DL. He keeps it on the DL.
Okay, well, when I say y'all, I guess I mean like
yeah, no, I'm just joking.
yeah,
Yeah.
the community.
Right. Yeah.
I see other people than of course just Casey's videos.
Yeah.
And I have other hunters send them to me like, dude, look at this. I had no idea you could do that. And
Yeah.
imagine if like you are bringing on other people and they're gaining support for it. But imagine if you just kept it quiet and you just hit it. It's going to go away. Like,
yeah,
just keep it quiet and not have podcasts discussing it. And you can't have, cool Instagram videos, educating people on it, whatever it is. You have to talk about it. You can't hide forever.
Yeah, man.
It's an uphill battle to do falconry now. That's for sure.
Yeah, true.
It's the most regulated hunting activity you can possibly do.
Wow.
And, we run into a lot, lack of land access, things like that. I was curious how much of that you run into. Like, what are your challenges?
Yeah. So land access can be difficult depending on where you're at in the state. With bear hunting with hounds, circling back to the Vermont thing, those guys, I'm sure, from what I know, were running on a really big tract of land, and they happened to run, their dogs happened to run and tree a bear on that guy's property. Of course, it was an accident. And you hear the age-old saying, well, dogs can't read the posted signs, yada,
Right.
yada, yada. But it is our responsibility as hunters to go and have a conversation with that landowner, and ask them, one, can we retrieve the dogs? But really, what should happen before that is if you're going to be hunting in an area, you should go talk to the surrounding landowners and let them know, hey, you might see me out here this fall. If you do, yada yada yada, would you care if I got my dogs off your property? Or for my case, we have big tracts of land. And a lot of them are hunting leases, will be bow hunting leases. Guys are on there to deer hunt. And I get in contact. I know all of them all the way around me. And what they tell me is the bears to them are a nuisance almost. So they give me the green light. And hey, if you tree a bear over there, absolutely kill it. Like, we would love for you to kill it. Because they mess up our deer hunting, or we think there's way too many of them, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
So
good stuff.
Yeah, with land access, I've been lucky, and I have some really big tracts of land that allow me to hunt. In the part of the state I'm in, there's very, very, very public land, very, very little public land. Excuse me. So the tracts I'm hunting are private, and they're just big leases.
That's awesome. So you're getting permission from the landowner, people and they're letting you do it. Yeah, because I noticed like a lot of your videos, you're just like flying around on your side by side, going like 50 miles an hour through the woods. And I always think about like, is this like public land that he's on? Like,
it's
how could
not.
that? It's not, right?
It's
okay.
Not. I mean, I love public land hunting and would do it, but there's not any in the areas that I hunt. There's not any public land. And I'm guessing because there's coal. Like, I live in coal country. You always see I'm on reclaimed strip mines. And I'm guessing those lands weren't taken. The government didn't take those lands just because there was coal here and we need coal to run the country.
Right.
So, if they were turning into public lands, then obviously we wouldn't be able to mine it. I'm guessing that's why the area I live in, just there's virtually zero public land. They're starting actually to add tracts now that they've been mined. But the problem is they turn them into wildlife management areas, which is great for deer hunters. And I deer hunt them. But there's zero road access. So we can't get around. We can't drive. They won't allow any vehicles on them. So it can be a challenge.
So if you didn't have access to those roads, it would really hinder your hunting, I would imagine.
Absolutely. I mean, if you turn a pack of hounds loose on a bear and that bear runs 5 miles, let's say he runs 5 miles straight line. Trying to get to that, you're going up a giant mountain, down a giant mountain, all the way down to the holler, crossing creek, up another one, and walking around and trying to track the dogs. And that would be a nightmare. There's no way just to do it on foot where I live and the way the bears run where I live.
You have to get a horse or something, or a mule.
Yeah. But even then, like in the area that I hunt, it would not be efficient at all. It would be a nightmare on a horse or mule.
I think it'd be fun to do it like here and there if I was somebody like you. Like just
for sure.
Bro, talk about views, bro. A guy on a horse.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like going out west and doing like a cat hunt off a mule, or doing a bear hunt on a mule. I feel like that would be different, but just the particular area I hunt and stuff, when I say it's not doable, it's not. It would be dangerous for the dogs to not be able to get to them in time.
Right. Yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Anytime I've ever ridden a horse, I get destroyed. I'm not built for riding a horse.
I was shocked. Okay, you would think you're right. I've I have very little horse experience, but the times I've been on a horse, I was shocked how rough it was.
You got to loosen those hips up. You got to get into it. You got to.
Yeah, I'm like, you guys can see, but I'm just like on a horse like this, like just getting my back and my balls and my legs just getting destroyed.
That was my experience too. I was like, whoa, they make it seem way cooler than me.
Yeah. You got to like get with the rhythm of the horse. I learned after the fact. I didn't know you don't just sit on it and just
just bounce around all day.
Like a truck.
So I've got a question I wish I would have asked earlier because it's going to be a little disjointed. Grizzly bears. Does anybody hunt with dogs after grizzly bears?
It's not legal in the U.S. I've heard stories of guys accidentally getting on them. I've of course never been on a grizzly bear with my dogs. I've never hunted in an area where there's grizzly bears.
I wonder if grizzly bears just turn around and smoke dogs.
I would say they're more lethal. I don't think it's something I ever want to try.
Yeah, that sounds sketchy, man.
Yeah, I would go to Russia and hunt them with those Lycas though. Now that's pretty cool. Like,
dude, it sounds like,
aren't they?
The bears, the brown bears over there. We should ask Seth Roy, a sponsor of this podcast. He has hunted them.
Has he?
Yes, he has. That guy's done everything. We got a sponsor of the podcast who breeds goshawks, and he owns a company that sells optics and firearms, Euro Optics, and he goes on all these amazing hunts through the company and stuff like that. So yeah, he's hunted pretty much everything you can imagine. But dude, that would be epic. But have you ever thought about adding one of those Lycas to your pack to like get in there and freaking speed up the process?
Well, yes. So I should have mentioned earlier with the Lycas, they don't have the lung capacity. So let's say that bear trees, it doesn't tree, or for whatever reason, doesn't happen quick. Say, and that Lyca is going to end up getting smoked. So think of them almost like a cheetah or like a sprinter.
Got it.
Versus a marathon runner.
Yeah.
And that's the way the hounds are. So like, let's say I find a track. It's 12 hours old or it's 24 hours old. It's in the snow. I can't put that Lyca on it and have that Lyca cold trail that bear and a day old track and then get it jumped and tree it. Totally different dog. I can put a hound on it and let it do it and then eventually let it run it down. That Lyca would be gassed by the time it actually caught up to the bear. But it doesn't have the nose ability, from what I understand, to do that. So they're entirely different. But yes, I actually plan on adding one, I guess, to the pack. I may take it with me when I bear hunt just to kind of like keep it up on the rig. And if one crosses, like, boom, drop it on it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be pretty cool. Kind of like a utility dog.
Yeah.
But then I also plan on, like, I just want one right now. In the days, like, let's say in the morning time, I go run the hounds. We kill a bear. Usually we'll just, hunt. If it's early season, we'll just hunt the mornings. And then in the evenings, we'll of course give them the day off and then hunt the next day. Within those evenings, I could take that Lyca out by itself and just solo hunt it and just walk hunt it in areas that I can't go hunt my dogs because there's no roads, because I can just walk the Lyca. So yeah, I plan on adding one, and I think it'll be a sweet addition to the channel too.
That'd be cool. Now I did have this one question. It's like super like stupid, but if we make this happen where I come out and we go bear hunting and then we go fly my birds and maybe Aaron can come too and bring his birds. He's got awesome birds. Would your dogs kill my dachshund?
Oh, absolutely not.
Oh, I thought you were going to say absolutely.
I thought he was going to say absolutely.
That's what I thought.
No. Dude, they are the nicest dogs. Yeah. So I wish you would ask that question earlier, because like, dude, when I was a kid, I remember seeing somebody with bear dogs one time and a lady telling me like, stay away from those. Those are bear dogs. Don't touch them. Like, you better watch. They're lethal and aggressive towards a bear or a hog or mountain lion or whatever. They are just big babies outside of that. Like,
that's awesome.
Nice as can be. So, and other dogs. No, you got to think, I'm hunting with different people, traveling around, hunting with random dogs all the time. And so they're always getting mixed in with other dogs and have no issues. So you bring in that dog, yeah, it may not look like a hound and they might look at it funny at first, but no, they're not going to treat it any different. My mom, look, for instance, my mom's got, what are they called? The little yappy dogs, the Taco Bell. The Taco Bell dogs.
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua. Yeah. The Chihuahua. My mom's got like 2 or 3 Chihuahuas.
And they don't kill and eat them?
No, I take my hounds over there and they're fine. So.
Oh, that's cool.
I know a guy who said when he was a kid, some fox hunters' dogs came running through his yard and his dachshund tried to join him and they killed it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like a fox. It's a little dog. I mean,
that could. I mean, I'm not saying that couldn't happen, but that won't happen.
Yeah, man. Kirk, is there anything else that we didn't cover that you would like to talk about?
No, I mean, I think you all pretty much, you all ask great questions. I'm trying to think if there's anything.
There is something. I took a note. Mm-hmm. You were in Africa recently?
Yes.
I mean, we can't leave without talking about that.
Yeah.
So that was just kind of like you usually don't take spur of the moment Africa trips, but a buddy of mine about a month out, maybe a month and a half out, was like, hey, I'm going to Africa. And they want some other YouTubers to go along on the trip, kind of promote. We were going out there to do a video with the safari that's out there, but he owns a drone company. And he was out there to check out this new drone they're working on in South Africa. And long story short, he was like, you want to go make a video? And I was like, sure. So I bought my plane, me and my brother. So my brother also films for me occasionally whenever I need it. And I asked him if he wanted to go, and he was like, absolutely. So we bought plane tickets and flew out to Africa. I had no idea. I had zero contact with the safari before going out there. Like, my brother was about to kill me because he's like, Kirk, I'm going to Africa with you, and I have no idea what's going on. I was like, John, just so you know, I don't know what's going on either, but I was asked to go. They said we could hunt, and so yeah, we just took off and went to Africa. I had no idea what I was getting into, but I was like, that's going to be a sweet video.
Yeah.
I had always wanted to go to Africa, but nothing. I had never even considered it, never looked at a hunt out there, nothing at all. We went out there and yeah, you can go watch the video on my channel. We had a great time. Within the first 5 minutes, I shot a baboon. So
that's awesome. I would love to shoot a baboon.
Yeah.
Freaking those things are crazy, bro. You ever seen them like eating the baby gazelle alive, bro? Those things are vicious.
Dude. So that's what
is that what you did? You saved a baby gazelle.
Yeah, I was
put
like,
that thing down. Boom.
Yeah. Let it go.
They told us, they're like, yeah, you can shoot baboons. It's free. We want you to shoot them. I was like, okay, y'all got to explain to me why we're shooting these. I can't just I would like to know a reason why we're shooting it for ethical reasons, but also like, for the video, I need to be able to explain why I'm shooting this baboon. And it's wild. They'll actually, of course, they have droughts in Africa. With Africa, all you hear is water issues. And they'll have droughts out there to the point where these baboons will go get on a herd of sheep, find a mother sheep. And there's sheep all over the place. There's sheep farms all over the place out there. And these baboons will grab a mother sheep, hold her down, rip open her milk sac, like rip her stomach open, drain the milk out of her like a vampire, and then leave her. Just be done with her. She's still alive. And so these farmers.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They'll find these sheep that are like a week ago, just got their insides ripped open from a baboon that's laying there, half dead, whatever.
I told you they were evil.
Yeah. Good. And I don't think like, and that's what I made a mistake in the video and compared them kind of like feral hogs, because they do treat them that way. They're not feral hogs at all here in the States. I was trying to relate them for the United States viewers. It's kind of like a kill on site if they're in the farmer's fields or they're around those goats.
Right.
So yeah, that the whole experience though, it was bizarre. Just like every animal you see, everything you see is brand new. Like it's just
that's crazy.
A really new experience. And it's something I recommend like everybody, do it just one time. Just go over there and experience it.
Just don't catch a brainworm.
Yes.
I would love to go see Nile crocodiles and the freaking great white sharks in
Screw that,
South
bro.
Africa.
I don't like sharks.
Yeah, no, and that's stuff like I after going over there once, I plan on going back. I mean, it was blast, and in fact, I want to start just traveling and doing all different sorts of like hound hunting all over the country. I saw a pack of hounds while I was out there and didn't have a chance to video them, but they do some cat hunting out there. I want to go do
Nice.
that. Like the Lycas in Russia. I want to get with some guys. I have no idea how it's going to happen, but I want to go do that. There's guys in Australia that I talk to on Instagram. They hunt red stag with, I think it's a red stag. It's some type of stag type animal. They run them with hounds.
Yeah. Spain too. They do that. My buddy hunts Spain a lot. He's got an outfitting business, and they the videos he was sending me was brutal. And in other countries, dude, I'm sure you've probably seen this, but like it's like different over there, dude. Like the dogs are like maiming this red stag like in Spain, and they're just like ha 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 vámonos, and it's like, and this thing's like gasping for breath. I'm like, holy crap, dude! Like just put the thing out of its misery.
Right.
And they just ran it down for like 5 miles, you know, like with the dogs. It's just like brutal, man.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Right. Well, I don't exactly want that.
No disrespect to my Spanish listeners out there. I'm just saying I just saw a couple of videos. That's all I'm saying.
Boy, so you're
shout out to Frederico.
Yeah. Hola. Almost this.
Right. But that's the kind of stuff I want to not that, but
right.
Stuff
I want to do that, dude.
Covering on the channel, just all the different types of dog hunting all over the world. Because there it hasn't been like you've got these hunting shows like Jim Shockey and stuff that they do it. Yeah, I saw Jim Shockey do a jaguar hunt with dogs, which was pretty cool. But I feel like it's so untouched, and that's kind of what I want my legacy to be. It's just traveling and showcasing all the different types of hunting with dogs because I don't think it's covered well at all.
Well, you've come to the right place because we have a unique style of hunting dogs.
Absolutely,
we'd have a blast. We definitely have a blast. But isn't his name of his show Untouched? Jim Shockey?
Uncharted.
Oh, Uncharted. I knew it was something. I didn't know which one it was.
Yeah. He had an excellent video where he went. Trying to think, I can't remember where it was. But anyways, he went out on a jaguar hunt, and the first time they filmed the video, the jaguar they were going after, it apparently had been like just wreaking havoc on livestock. It ended up killing the whole pack of dogs, which is
oh my god!
They couldn't make the video.
Holy crap!
The number one, they didn't catch the jaguar, and it like wiped out the whole pack of dogs. So like years later, he comes back with the same guys, and then they actually catch one and dart it. I don't think they killed it. I think they darted it and moved it or something. But
then they killed it off camera.
I think I saw a video of his one time where he was hunting crocodiles in Africa. Yeah. And like while he was there in the village, a girl was killed at the river by a crocodile.
Wow. Yeah. And they were showing that. I saw that episode, and they were showing the people with missing limbs and scars on their backs, and like just like getting water to drink. Like we live in a different world, man. Like they're getting water to drink, and they're getting pulled in and eaten. It's freaking
when people
crazy.
Complain about life in America, I'm like, yeah, go visit a village in Africa and see how good you got it.
Oh no, doubt. Even in the parts of South Africa like that I was in, outside of the safari. Of course, the safari is awesome. I mean, they've got it set up for Americans or Europeans, whatever. I mean, it's super nice, but like on the outskirts of it or in towns, we went exploring in Cape Town because we had a long layover, and it was like we went outside of the touristy area, and it was unbelievable, like how bad some of the areas were. It was eye-opening just how lucky we are, and have no idea. Just take it for granted.
Yeah, I heard that there'll be like somebody was telling me over there. There'll be like a house made out of like old car tires, and then there'll be like a 75 screen flat screen on the wall.
Yeah,
like super random because they like it's a huge problem. And I was talking to some other falconers about it that live there. There's a pretty decent falconry community in South Africa, and you can't drive around, without some sort of escort or something like that because they'll just rob you.
Yeah.
But it's another world. I mean, we went to Argentina and my wife's cousins, I mean, they were just sitting around the table eating and they're just like, oh yeah, a guy pulled a 9mm on me the other day at the bus stop. I gave him everything, like it's nothing. Like it happens every day. It's just like part of their life. It's a different world.
Same deal. Like a guy in South Africa was telling us he met up Facebook Marketplace deal. He went to buy a bicycle from somebody, said there was 3 or 4 guys that hopped out of the vehicle once he got out to look at this bike. And he said he emptied his pockets and walked away.
That's crazy. Yeah. So sketchy. That's what every time I go to a Facebook Marketplace thing, I think that's going to happen, but it never does. You don't feel that way? I always text somebody before I leave, like, dude, I'm going to this address. If you don't hear from me in 2 hours, like
my brother does that too.
Yeah, I get paranoid. I don't know why.
He'll send me a text and he'll be like, "We're going to this location. If something happens, this is where we were," or something.
I got to pick up an ottoman from my living room.
I'm risking my life for an IKEA ottoman.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh man.
All right, Kirk. Well, thanks for coming on.
Hey, no problem. Thank you all for asking me to be on. I haven't, just so y'all know, I haven't done a podcast and turned down a bunch, just because, and I don't know. I don't really like doing them, but I had a great time on this one, and I appreciate you all asking me to do it.
Man,
dude, we appreciate it, man. I figured you would have been on like 1 million with like your platform.
It's been a long time since I've done one. But this one, you all, like I said, before I even got into this, I almost felt like I related to you all, and that's why I wanted to do the podcast, just because I think what you all do is so unique, and I appreciate it.
Man,
cool, man.
That's awesome.
Dude, thanks for being here. Huge fan over here, and we're super glad that you came on and you agreed to come on, man. We appreciate it.
I'm a new fan.
Awesome.
I'll be subbing tonight.
Yeah, and subscribe, people. Where can they find you? Tell us everything. Tell the audience everything. So if people are listening, like, who is this guy? How do I find this guy? I mean, you just type in like, just like the first couple letters and you pop up because you're that well known. But fill everybody in where they can find you.
Okay, so like we've mentioned, my main platform is YouTube, and just Kirk Price, KIRK. People often think it's KURT. It's not. It's Kirk Price, PRICE. And then on Instagram, it's at Kirk Price _. But another reason why I don't like Instagram, Casey originally followed my real estate Instagram instead of personal Instagram, which has way more followers. And the reason is because Instagram has shadow banned my account, obviously, and they want to promote. Like, why would my real estate one come up?
I know.
I haven't posted on it in months, and it's got like 1,000 followers maybe, versus my personal one has way more than that. But that's part of the reason why I don't like Instagram.
Yeah, I deal with that too. I post some awesome stuff, and I'm like, that one's gonna do good, and it gets like nothing. I'm like, what the hell is going on? It's like they're definitely like I think it's like maybe the hashtags or something. I don't know, dude.
It ain't the hashtags. No. They'll just straight up. And I didn't believe that. I thought, man, people their content's just not good. They're making excuses and want to blame the man when really it's the content. But I learned firsthand. People are like, I have so many people follow my real estate Instagram from YouTube, and I'm like, no, that's not. I just post real estate stuff on there, and to the point where now I have changed the bio pointing to my real Instagram, and I deleted all my real estate posts because it's not necessary anymore. So. Yeah,
good for you.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, so go like and subscribe and follow Kirk and show him some support for what he's doing, and stand together against the anti-hunting community and support your fellow hunter in whatever endeavor they're doing. So,
amen.
That's right.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks for being here.